Folks, we are hot off of just watching the season finale for House of Dragon season 3 episode 8. And what a way for it to all come to a screeching halt at the end, as they say. So Kayla, where would you even want to begin? You want to start at the very beginning?
I just
For
want to say this truly is a show designed to piss me off specifically. As I think this show is created in a lab to be
Mhm,
like, how? Hey, this person loves TV so much. This
mhm,
person loves strong female characters. This person loves high fantasy.
mhm.
Great, good stuff. What can we do to make them angry at every turn?
Well, I mean, yeah, because like if you're feeling like, yeah, you know what, this episode was like, fuck you, but especially Kayla, fuck you,
Fuck you?
like then yeah,
Yes,
um,
yes,
yeah, it's funny enough.
yes.
Like I know coming into this, the temperature check for a lot of people, was pretty much split down the line 50-50.
Hmm.
You know, a lot of people like the episode for what it does, and a lot of people didn't like the episode for what it did. And you know, it's kind of funny because I think for us, for me and you, I think we're 50-50 on that 50-50. I actually like what the episode did for a lot of characters. But I see, yeah, I think you might be on the opposite spectrum for what it's done for the characters, more so in their how they're might be perceived for season 4.
No, I mean, I think this whole season is already setting up every character for negative perception going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think definitely what the creators are doing, like you said, we need a villain protagonist. So in order to do that, instead of the show crafting a narrative where
Mm-hmm.
it does justify Rhaenyra's heel turn
Mm-hmm.
and the suffering that she's gone through, and the psycho because she's in psychosis. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
really just psychosis. The psychosis that she's experiencing and the choices that she's making, instead of trying to navigate a story where we can understand it and
Yeah.
sit with it, we are now turning it that the villains are now the heroes, that you have
Mm-hmm.
to sympathize with the villains. And you can't have a bad guy if you don't have good guys, instead of making it no, bad guys can stay bad guys throughout the whole thing, but you guys didn't like that we made these guys bad guys, and we want you to like them so much. We want you to like them so much, and we do not actually care about Rhaenyra's narrative and the systemic issue of misogyny and patriarchy that she is plagued by. We just want you to know that if she's wearing the crown, she's a dumb bitch for thinking that she deserves it. But sad boys, sad girls.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it caused her a lot of strife and struggle. Now they're going through strife and struggle. You
Mm-hmm.
have to sympathize with them, babe. That's not how this shit works. Um,
Yeah, it's
I just
a lot of that.
it yeah. This whole look, I will say they're definitely doubling down on a lot of character characterization, right? In my opinion, bad character narrativization that doesn't do characters and the actor and the story justice, or doesn't support it. But they definitely doubled down on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I will say, before we get into scene by scene and break it down, um, that at least the theme of everyone's gonna blame Rhaenyra and everyone is selfish and arrogant, they made sure they were like, we're gonna run this home. We're gonna make sure we stick the landing on that story. Every adult decision that another adult has made in this show is still Rhaenyra's fault.
Yeah.
Every
Mm-hmm.
decision everyone else has made in this show of their own accord is still Rhaenyra's fault.
Mm-hmm.
So at least the show is definitely like, we got to make sure you guys know that everybody is fucking selfish and can't think past their nose. That even when they don't want to do their job, it's Rhaenyra's fault. Everything bad that happens to these people's lives, it's Rhaenyra's fault
Mm-hmm.
for existing. Rhaenyra shouldn't exist. That's the show's the story. The creators are just like, yeah, let's just double down on that. And as we said throughout our conversations, throughout these 8 episodes, 7 episodes now, 8,
Mm-hmm.
um, show does not how to write multifaceted characters with different ideas and themes and likes and dislikes and wants and mind frames. Everyone's got to be the same, and the biggest enemy of all will always be Rhaenyra. So yeah,
Yeah. For
yeah,
now that it has officially come to pass and Rhaenyra is the essentially de facto villain protagonist for me, like I mentioned it weeks ago, um for me, writing wise, if I was in a writing room and whatnot at that current point, I'm like, the only for me the only way of saving Rhaenyra's character is for her to becoming a full on de facto villain, because that is the only thing, like, I can see how they would tie together, and for why the history of when we learned about her in Game of Thrones, for why, like, she had to be like like it literally axed from history, right? Like
right.
they would, like, because she would have to do things that were considered unspeakable, and at the rate that we were going with her character, I felt like she didn't have, there was nothing like,
There's no choice at this point.
yeah, there was nothing that, presented that she's done something so bad, that other than, all right, well, we're gonna just usurp the throne
Right.
and do all this other stuff. Like, she hasn't done
Well, but
anything as villainous to me as
right,
a
but
yeah,
yeah, but that's the thing. That's the crux of this whole story.
yeah.
It's a woman pushed to the edge, right? That's
Mm,
where this narrative is. A woman pushed to the edge. She doesn't do anything until enough is enough, right?
mm,
And but the crux of that is misogyny. Of course, we can demonize and villainize men for the destruction they cause, but they're still praised in a lot of circles. A lot of
mm,
time, they're not even omitted, right, or seen as a failing. It's just crazy that they did
mm,
that while they're seen as strong. Whereas in the overall arcing narrative of this universe,
mm,
tied to Game of Thrones, not necessarily the books themselves, because
mm,
again, we haven't read the books, so we can't discuss how the Rhaenyra narrative sees dividends into Dany's story,
mm,
Daenerys' story, just from what we're watching from these two series. And as you haven't watched Night of the Seven
mm.
Kingdoms, but as that story as well. So it's like Rhaenyra's main issue is that she's a woman,
Yeah, that's
and
part of her
misogyny
narrative.
runs the joint, right? So, but and look, I'm fine with the heel turn. I've said this
Mm,
since season one, watching everything that she's gone through. She literally could kill anybody, and I'm still team chanting Rhaenyra in the streets. Queen
mm,
Rhaenyra is still like, I'm not leaving this season thinking anything less than her. I'm
mm,
concerned. I'm concerned, but I don't think
mm,
any less of her. My problem is that in order to do that, the show is also like, now we have to soften Aemond, we have to soften Aegon, we have to soften Allison, we have to soften Helena, we have to soften all these people
mm,
that abused her, that tormented her, that terrorized her, that caused her nothing but grief. We have to soften them so that you guys can start rooting for them. Because if one is crazy because these people push her to
mm,
madness, they're not really at fault, because you see, they're real sad about it.
mm,
They're going through their own thing, and to me, that's just like an in real world narrative where it's just like, you have to understand your bullies, you have to understand your abusers, you
mm.
have to understand your tormentors. They're going through stuff. They're going through stuff. Oh, they're going through stuff. And no,
Mm.
no. So I,
Yeah, for me,
yeah.
on that side, where of the things for me that, like, for enjoyment wise, I'm like, all right, if we're going this route with Rhaenyra, for me, she had to become the villain, because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise her character and the way that her relationships were working out just made her seem really fucking weak. Like, and I think the weakest she was in the very beginning of the episode, when she came into the room and crying and complaining because Aegon is back. And I'm like, at a certain point, like, like Aegon coming back, and I'm like, why are we complaining
Stop
about this,
crying.
right?
Yeah.
And crying about it? Like, you've already resolved yourself of so many things to get to this point, and you've decided that, you know what, we're just gonna roll with the punches of, declaring Aegon dead, because you've been giving so many other people's input, and you haven't stuck your foot down. And it's like all these, like when she came into King's Landing, and she went through with all of this, it was like, you know what, I'm making all these half-assed decisions, and nothing's really getting set and done in stone. I'm trying to be sympathetic to so many people, because that was the type of queen that I thought I needed to be for people, right? And as she's seen, more and more than not, like, it is so hard to be sympathetic to so many people, and these people, no matter at every cost and corner, she's being mocked. Her hand is mocking her. So many people are playing her in her face and whatnot. And she was like, well, when I was ruling outside of this, everybody was, like, I can have this type of sympathetic rule, but that was when I was ruling a smaller piece of the pie. Now that I have to go govern and look at everything, there's so you have people saying that, well, God is telling me that I can't become a queen, queen, king, can't own this, right? Can't be, I can't. Everyone's telling me these things that I can't do, over and over and over. And now that Aegon is back, everyone's like, see, we told you, you can't do this. Not only because you're a woman, right? Like, you can't do this, period. And the writers, like, was showing us at every cost and turn that you don't deserve to be a ruler, right? So it's like, when were you going to take the step to be like, you know what, it's not that I deserve to be a ruler, I'm giving the people the ruler that they deserve. And to me, that was the only way the villain turn was going to work, because in this arc, we've grown sympathy for Rhaenyra for these past 3 seasons, and that was what I was looking forward to see, because if they kept with the way that the character was going, then like, to me, the Descent in Badness would just, it probably wouldn't be worth it. But the fact that they did it now, right, as the season finale, where it's like, oh my god, we played in Rhaenyra's face for 3 seasons, and now we have to spend an entire season taking down the demon that we created, because everybody contributed towards this heel turn, and now people have to live with their actions. And the first person that you see have to live with their actions of truly what's going on was Daemon, funny enough, on the battlefield, because everyone knows dragons are wicked and whatnot, right? But the whole town was lost. This was not this was not the goal. We were supposed to keep the town and the people. Now they're up in smokes, right? And you've also enabled Rhaenyra. After everything, now you're like, Daemon was the final straw that broke the camel back, that says this is the type of person you need to become. And I really don't think that Rhaenyra is gonna lose sleep. Like, if this was Rhaenyra before the heel turn, I think she would have lost sleep at losing the town. I think when we roll into next season, she was like, okay, so what? Is Ormond dead? Oh, he's dead. All right, fine. What about my other
We're all
enemies,
thumbs up.
right? And people are gonna look at her like, bro, are you crazy? And it's like, oh no, this is what you guys wanted. You guys wanted me to not care and say fuck these people and whatnot, because at the end of the day, all these people are my subjects. And right, like when she says, I am the prince, like, that's like, I am the chosen, right? Like, that's crazy talk for a lot of, as people are saying, but like, to me, I think it's full on, like, you know what? Everyone's been telling me all this other stuff, but I'm her. Like, I've been, listening to all these people. I don't need a whisperer. Masaria, kick rocks. You know what? My hand ain't here. He ain't got a hand anyway. Well, he's missing a finger. So, I mean, like, and at this point, like, for me, what I like is that we have the villain, a clear-cut villain, and it is a villain protagonist. My favorite thing in writing is villain protagonists. So I think that's part of my bias showing for that. What I don't like, what that was sacrificed, was everybody else, essentially, to create this villain character. Because
What do you mean?
So at the helm of creating Rhaenyra as your
Mm-hmm.
ultimate villain, right? We
Mm-hmm.
have to humanize so many other characters around her that have
So yeah,
done
your
so,
issue is my
yeah,
issue, right?
yeah, that has done so much other unspeakable things, right? Because following the books, for those people watching, hopefully this is the first time, you're just watching the series and you've already watched Game of Thrones and whatnot, and you've watched Game of Thrones, you already know that Rhaenyra is, obviously she's dead because it's like years, but
Right.
it's the way she dies and whatnot, that was talked about in Game of Thrones. So it's like now creating a narrative that has to stick where you have to root for Allison, you have to root for Aegon, you have to root for Aemon, you have to root for Daemon, and all these other people who have been terrible to Rhaenyra, around her, like for the narrative to kind of flip to where people are cheering on Aegon. I've seen that online. I was just like, yeah, a
Yes.
lot of people were. I'm just like, damn. But all the unspeakable things that these other guys have done are now, it's like sweep them under the rug. Or, and I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, if I'm thinking about this as a writer, you know it's how will the audience and the viewers react to that, right? Because it's more so, as a writer, you will want people to feel like, bro, what are you, like, you want people to feel this way, where I
Mm-hmm.
can't sweep these things underneath the rug. But how
Mm-hmm.
but how bad of a villain, or do I even consider Rhaenyra a villain? You want people to have those types of conversations as a writer, because if you're not having any of these type of conversations, then you're not really doing your job. Now, that doesn't excuse, like how a lot of how terrible some of the choices were to get to this point. To get to the point where we have Rhaenyra as, as we're calling it, as a villain, and I think most people would see her as a villain. And it's going to be interesting to hear people talk about this moving forward, where they're like, well, Rhaenyra's a villain, and look at all this other unspeakable things that she's doing now, and we need to take her down. You're like, hold on, wait a minute, what about Aegon? We didn't need to take this man down. Like, what did he do some unspeakable things? I mean, Damon, uh Aemon, like, we could throw anybody into, like, Alicent, and like all these people who were your villains beforehand, like, it's not so easy to just sweep this all under the rug. It's like, who do you root for anymore, right? Like, essentially, that's what it comes down to. Me personally, I'm rooting for, even though I know, we know the demand. I'm rooting for Rhaenyra because I love villains, and your villain protagonist, and someone that's going, like, I'm looking forward to seeing how evil, right, she truly becomes in season 4. And to me, the capstone is going to be the way she goes out, right? And the way people are going to remember her, in the world itself. And if it's not that she's the most, if it's not that Rhaenyra is the, like, we can't even mention her name. Like, to
Mm-hmm.
me, for her to, like, will cement her villain arc is if people, it's banned. Her name is banned. Like, with the shit that she's
Right.
done, has been so unspeakable. But at the same time, it's tearing her apart because of the person that, like, I'm looking for a more multifaceted villain
Right.
from her. At the same
I
time,
but I
she just can't be
I
full on nuts and crazy.
Right. Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think maybe sit with too the fact that even if she doesn't do anything truly villainous,
Hmm.
it's a simple fact that she's a woman that people would be like, we can't talk about her.
Hmm.
We don't want to talk anything about her because we don't want people like what's that old adage? The victors, right? The
Hmm.
the history or
Yeah.
history is written by the victors.
Yeah.
So like you said, we know already what happens to Rhaenyra
Hmm.
at the end because of Game of Thrones. Um so even if she doesn't go full on cutting people's throats left, right, and
Yeah.
center out in the streets, right? She
Yeah.
could be sitting on the Iron Throne chit chatting, and people are. It's like we don't know. Season 4
Yeah.
hasn't come out yet. We don't know what they're doing yet. We don't
Yeah.
know exactly how they're gonna have this woman lash out in this way, right? But it's very like she can either go full balls, like not. We don't want her too crazy, right? She
Like,
can either
what?
go
Yeah.
balls to the
Boss
wall,
the wall. Yeah.
or she can be like, you know what? Cold stare, pointing fingers, and people would still be like, "This bitch." But
Yeah.
truly, it's like it doesn't matter what at the end of the day, because this is the story and we know the ending. It truly doesn't matter what she does, because this whole thing is launched because she's a girl, a
Mhm.
woman. I'm sorry, she was born a girl, became a
Mhm.
woman. Um, so yeah, it just that's the sadness of this all, right? Because it's like, even hearing you discuss like viewing her as weak,
Mhm.
it breaks my heart a little bit, because that's what a lot of people are seeing her as
Mhm.
um unworthy, as weak, can't do this. And it's like, I'm watching it happen, and I'm just like, well, no, because she really is trying. And of course, it's hard for someone to try to do the right thing when everyone's playing in your face.
Mhm.
But because she's trying to do the right thing, and because the show has written it so that she is soft-hearted, right? And
Mhm.
again, she's in this iteration of her, she truly just wants to do her job. She doesn't want the struggles. She wants the snuggles and get the job done.
Mhm.
Great. A lot of I know that, girl. Me too. Um, and I understand too what it's like to try to do the right thing, and then seeing your measuredness, your calmness. You're trying to do everything to make sure everyone gets fed, as
Yeah.
weakness. So it and nothing you can do can change that, because the world views that as a weakness.
Mhm.
So it is like, I know even for some men it's seen that way too, but not
Mhm.
at a higher rate it is for women. That's the plight of Rhaenyra. And the simple, it's like that she needs to be evil to be strong.
Yeah,
And
essentially, yeah.
that's is bullshit. I mean, because I look, it's hard for me not to relate to Rhaenyra's arc as a whole, because I've gone through similar situations
Mhm.
where I've had nothing but struggles put upon me by others, and doing my best to not let that pain and trauma turn me into something horrible,
Mhm.
because I know deep within me I can be horrible, and it
Mhm.
takes a lot to quell that and push it down. And a lot of people do see that as weakness, to try to be measured, to try to be thoughtful.
Mhm.
And of course, within time too. And obviously, I'm not trying to rule a kingdom, but I am a very hardworking woman. I'm an older sister. I've had a lot of responsibilities my entire life, nonstop, right? And trying to just not let it all, like sand, slip through your fingers. And you can't hold on to sand, right? Unless you
Mhm.
just can't. You can't hold on to sand. Maybe a couple grains, but you can't hold on to a beach, right? And I know too that, like, if I went psychosis Rhaenyra, a lot
Mhm.
of people would be like, now you're doing too much, which is what the narrative is doing, right? It's telling you
That's
she's
it.
doing too much.
Yeah.
She got pushed to a point. We're showing you that she's weak, right? And in these ways, that she is stressed out, that she's having panic attacks, that she's exhausted, that she's
Mhm.
trying to do her best, and all these people are coming to her, that she can't stop crying, right? Even though we have pushed her into a position where she is at a deficit, right? She takes King's Landing at a deficit, and in everyone in her face, and playing in her face publicly, Damon, Corliss, Allison, Aegon, everyone playing in her face. And sadly, even there at the end, last episode with Massaria arguing with her in the hallways, and touching her, and like Damon is a bad bitch, and not in a positive way, in a
Mhm.
fuck him way, right? Is causing strife. So now it's just like, in order for her to be strong, she has to be evil. So anything that she's done before and how much she survived, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter to shit, because now we created this villain. Now we got to take her down. So
Mhm.
she's been the problem the entire time. It's so hard. It's like I said, truly, the
Yeah.
show was created to piss me off, because it is showing that, or it one of the themes of it is that you cannot be measured in understanding, or you cannot be signed to a job and and then have people backstab you the entire way. Whatever decision you make is still your fault. All the pain that you've gone, all the measured, all the trying to keep it cool, don't do it. Don't have a kind heart.
Mhm.
Don't be thoughtful. Don't try to seek peace. Just I don't know, man. I don't think the creators know how to write. I mean, look, the creators are writing whatever
Mhm.
narrative, but this is a narrative that has plagued female characters throughout all time. You can't be you're either the Madonna or the whore, right? Miss Aria. Um, you're either the Madonna or the whore, or you're the villain, or you're the sweetie pie girl next door. You're one of these archetypes. You
Mhm.
can't be multifaceted. Rhaenyra is not allowed to be multifaceted at all. None of the women in this show are allowed to be multifaceted. Um, so it's just like, yeah, it is heartbreaking seeing the conversation happening online, and even a little bit when as the weeks have gone on for us, that she doesn't she shouldn't do it. She should just lay down and take it. Whatever's happened to her, she should just lay down and take it. She should stop fighting. And now that she's fighting, fuck her. She's evil. Fuck her.
Mhm. And that's how
And
they switched the narrative now with her. Yeah.
yeah, but then, like you said, and as I've mentioned in the weeks passing, but
Mhm.
everyone else that's fucked her over,
Yeah.
poor baby,
People are getting
poor
like
baby,
pat on the shoulder, and they're getting the,
poor
oh,
baby.
Damon, you just realized how terrible dragons are? Oh shit,
Oh,
damn, bro. Like, oh,
oh,
like,
that's
like,
crazy.
Aemon, you try to kill your brother, and he's back, and he's like, I want to kill you, but you know what? Oh, forgive me, brother. Like, because you just realize how, like everyone's like legitimately, like, I think a
Like,
lot of people walked
oh,
away that,
Aegon,
yeah,
oh, Aemon, oh, Allison, oh, Helena, oh, Damon, oh my God, oh, my poor
yeah,
Percitas, oh, my poor babies. Like, let's forget every bad thing you done because this bitch was born. It's her fault for being born.
yeah. Because the way it was written, I think there was no other outs for. So I'm trying to. What I'm trying to do right now is envision a world for Rhaenyra, given the current narrative, where she is not a villain, with the writing.
Yeah,
And
she could literally hand out kittens to everyone with baskets of muffins and bread with love notes,
yeah,
and people are gonna be like, that heinous bitch. I'm allergic to cats.
yeah,
I can't
because
eat. I can't. I'm gluten intolerant. Muffins. Like,
yeah, because I'm trying to imagine, like, with the way it was going, like,
oh my god.
like, it's like, and it's crazy and sad to think about it, right? As you when you
Mm-hmm.
frame it, that if she didn't become a villain, it was more likely that she would kill herself with the way the narrative was going, because of, she
Mm-hmm.
can't handle the pressure to be a real queen, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
everyone in her ear, everyone's like, she's lost her, lost sons, like, lost, yeah, she's lost children, losing friends. Like, it's like, at what point, when she's like, enough is enough, there's two actions that she could take: inaction, which is an action, and what we got here. And no matter what, she's going to be criticized over every single thing. And what it's showing is that all rulers, at the end of the day, like, because the one thing I like, think I disagree a lot with narratives that paint, like, with villain protagonists, and they're in the role of trying to become a king or a ruler, or
Mm-hmm.
anything, is that all ruling has to be seen as evil, no matter
Right.
what.
I don't like that narrative either because
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, because, like, and this is what it entails when people look at any person that's a ruler, whether you take a monarch, king, president, and whatnot, and the framing is always going to be, no matter what, said person has to be evil in the eyes of, a certain group of people, because that's where we shift the narrative. Not to say that there aren't people who are rulers who are evil,
Mhm.
right, folks?
There are a lot.
But there are a lot, right? But it's like, every single, like, king, queen that comes into power, like, but inherently, because you are ruling over someone, you have to have some inherent evilness to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in a lot of Korean history, and I mean, there's histories all around, but I just know more Korean history. there was like Sage Kings, right?
Mhm.
And it was interesting because I was wondering, will we have like a Sage Queen? Could we have
Mhm.
created that, right?
I think
And
with Rhaenyra, I think we really could have.
and that's what she was aiming for. Despite all of the issues that was going on, there, it would take some writing and some weeks to create a Sage Queen narrative, right? Where you can still do a lot of this unspeakable shit to people, to protect your overall Sage Queenness, right? Because there's still
Mhm.
some hard decisions that have to get made, right?
Mhm.
At the end of the day, you are going to have people that are going to oppose you, right? But not
Mhm.
but like a lot of these narratives, um you're either have to be a sage, ruler, or a villain. That's it. Like there
Mhm.
is really no in between when it comes to shows that features like royalty and kings and queens and whatnot, right? So the harder path would be, how do we position Rhaenyra as a sage queen while everyone considers her a villain? Because she could still be a
Mhm.
villain, right? But a villain, to the people, that want to oppose her rule. Because the thing she could have done was, like, she could do everything to fight for the poor. She could do everything to fight for the less fortunate. That is indirect opposite to the people who are trying to marginalize everybody, like to the rich,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And that's what will make her a villain, and she could still be like the villain protagonist. Well, I need to get rid of these other rich motherfuckers that keep trying to oppose me. How can I continue to hurt these other people so I can save these other people? Like, that's still a villainous thing, right? That story is a lot harder to write, and for a lot of people it's not as clear cut. And these writers, like, because a lot of decisions have been made that we need to make things like as simple as it can be. Like, all right, Rhaenyra,
And don't think too
yeah,
hard,
yeah, we don't. They
Joe.
don't.
Don't think
A
too
lot of
hard.
people do like to digest shows that are just simple and easy to understand, right? And this is why a lot of writing in Hollywood overall is just like, well, if it's too hard for people to understand, if there's too many questions that people have to ask, then they don't consider it a good show, right? And a
Mm.
lot of those shows get canceled, if people can't just easily understand, well, who's the villain in the series. Because if you started watching like House of Dragon from season one, which I didn't, I came in and blitzed everything, right? The question would be, well, who's the villain in this series, right? That seems that question changes over multiple times as you get through it. If you ask who's the main character in Game of Thrones, well, there's so many people that's the main character, but this was by narratively a complex show, right? So, which is why I'm like confused at the writers sometimes. Like, if the show
Mhm.
is supposed to be inherently complex and inherently multifaceted, why are we making things so simplistic? Where, like, a lot of characters share the same character traits of being arrogant, and that explains
Mhm.
their ways of how things have come about. Like, taking Rhaenyra's character and the evolution of her character from, season one, you can see clear, now that we come to this point, that, all right, we can see her character evolution. But damn, did you had to make her feel so defeated at so many different points, while then being like, all right, because you had the highs where she was on the high horse and she was feeling
Mhm.
strong. You felt like, yeah, this is a woman that could do anything, but now we have to knock her down a peg. You know what? We have to keep that going on, and to the point where she's at her lowest. And now that she's at her lowest, after everything, she has nobody, no one. Like I mentioned
Mhm.
last week.
We got
Now,
to take everybody away from her.
yeah, we've taken everybody away from her, and now because she has nothing left, it's, oh, you know what? I didn't need anybody anyway.
Mhm.
I'm the chosen. I don't need anybody to tell me that, like, because she was seeking that validation, and then realized, no, the validation is going to come from within. Like, do we need to take everybody away from her for her to feel that? And to me, writing
Like,
wise,
one of the things I'm so
yeah,
confused about what's going on with Saria, but
yeah,
go on.
yeah, because I was just like, I don't think we needed to take everything away from her in order to give her the platform, the validation that she needed to be like, I'm queen. She could have still had this heel turn, this villain turn, while being surrounded by other people who, like, relied on her more. Even if they did question her, she could have still had somebody beside her. There's nobody officially now. I said
Mm-hmm.
last week. Masari was the last person, and she just told her to kick rocks.
Yep.
Which that gets discarded
And
real quickly,
the whole
and
thing with
yeah,
Bela and Reina too, I'm very confused about.
yeah. So like when it comes to Rhaenyra, right, and especially because this is the photo, like her eyes, man, the makeup artist,
That
man,
makeup
yeah,
was like, this is a woman in distress.
yeah,
And it's
like
though that's psychosis
yeah,
makeup.
she clearly like I like how they illustrated it because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, she's like Maleficent, like like from the Disney movie, and I'm like, it's so
Who's
clear.
my favorite Disney
Yeah,
villain?
and
But
who's
yes.
also a fucking dragon, and then like you fear Rhaenyra more than her actual dragon now, like,
Mm.
and this is what they're trying to say about rulers. At the end of the day, are they just trying to say that everyone's always going to be the same? Is that the narrative that we're telling? Is that because at the very end, if you think about Game of Thrones, Daenerys, was that the narrative that we're telling?
No, it's
And
the
this is the
exact same.
parallel.
We're telling the exact same story. There's for these women,
Mm-hmm.
if they are ambitious and seek to gain power, seek to change things,
Mm-hmm.
it is their fault because they are incompetent to do so. They cannot rightfully rule. If
Mm-hmm.
a woman has to be, she can't be ambitious, she can't seek power, she can't seek respect, she can't seek an understanding or a levelness in a position of power that's thrusted upon her, right, through prophecy,
Mm-hmm.
through legacy, whatever. She should not, she should just sit home and take it all on the chin and just fuck it. Because
Yeah.
when comparing things to when Aegon was sitting on the throne, again, when he was, as she says in her coronation speech, done so in secret, because not like, what
Mm-hmm.
we also see, some of us saw season one, but yeah, how he had people around him who could clean up. He was truly incompetent, but he had people around him to clean up. He had his grandfather, he had his mother, he had his brother, he had a council who could do things for him while he fucked around. And the show is showing you that, hey, this absolute fuck up can have people around him even in his fucking up. This woman who was trained for this, because Aegon was not trained for this woman who was trained for this shouldn't want it anyway because everyone around her is stupid and now she's bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
Aegon could sit on the
oof.
throne with his legs thrown up over the arm and not get cut, but Rhaenyra just sits forward and she has her period and gets cut, and it's so stressful. She ain't got no money in the bank. Everyone's in her face. Her whole council's talking shit at the council table. Her husband is straight up ignoring her. Her hand is fucked off. No one is supporting her.
Yeah, and now it's
No
all on
one is
her.
supporting her, and now it's all on her. So any decision she make, any decision anyone makes, but anything that falls at her death is her fault.
Yeah.
That's what this show, and I know that that's what this show is doing to us because that's the wider conversation that everyone is picking off of instead of just actually, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. This is
Yeah.
bad. Is why I said when we watched the first episode together that I was so hesitant in engaging in this show, finding out what the premise of it was, because I was so confused of why would you want to do another show where the woman that you're meant to be rooting for dies in the end at the hands of patriarchy and a dragon. Oh
Mm-hmm.
no. Oh well, I guess in Game of Thrones, Jon is a Targaryen, so he is a dragon. So she does meet her end by a dragon, and then Drogon takes her off. Here, Rhaenyra, not spoilers, 1, 2, 3. Aegon tells Sunfire to burn her and eat her alive. So they both die at the hands of a dragon. So why are we doing the exact same story? And then why are we having people write the story so that they can continue to? And again, this is propaganda and societal pressure, brainwashing to let you know any woman who seeks the presidential seat, she can't because she's too emotional.
Yeah, because if you were to you
She's
see
incompetent,
this,
doesn't know what she's doing, and
yeah,
emotional.
that's why I was
And
like,
has her period.
anybody that sees Rhaenyra for this season up until this point would see that like would think that she's unfit. Like if you've never seen Rhaenyra and you just get dropped into season 3 out of nowhere, right? And you're just watching this and you see the
Because
way that Rhaenyra was written, you would think that she is incapable of actually being a queen.
because they want
Yeah.
you to forget that she was Viserys' cupbearer. They want you to forget that she ruled Dragonstone for like 15 years. They want you to forget that. They truly want you to forget. They want you to forget what this woman has accomplished in her short life
Hmm.
to be like, oh no, she's too emotional. She doesn't know what she's doing. She
Yeah.
just doesn't.
But
Tell her to fucking kick rocks. And
yeah,
why is she here? Why is
that
she? The amount of people I've seen go, why is she fighting so hard? Just give it to Aegon, bro. Aegon didn't even want it.
yeah,
His mother, Alicent, forced him into it.
because Allison was
Again,
so with her own issues. Surprisingly, yeah, we only got that one scene from Allison this whole entire episode.
because what's gonna
Yeah,
happen is she's gonna blame Rhaenyra for Helena
fine.
hopping her way out the window.
Yo, and I was half joking last week. I was just like, yeah, watch Helena
You
die
like
and Allison,
look,
and then she
if
yeah.
you go back, there's another episode where you talk about Helena jumping out of a window. It's like early
uh,
on in the season. I was
oh
looking dead at camera, going,
oh shit, I yeah.
"Yeah."
Yo,
The whole time I was like,
yeah, like I didn't even know that's how she actually like goes out.
yeah, yeah. The
And
whole
that's
time, like I've been laughing about it for weeks. So I'm just like,
yeah. I was like, yeah, yo,
"Ugh."
when she did it, I was just like, damn. I guess to all right. So before we
Yeah, let's try to break down
uh
some scenes and other thoughts
so
instead of just
yeah, because
yeah.
Rhaenyra, I think Rhaenyra. I mean, well, the stuff we have to say about Rhaenyra, I think we pretty much did. There's one person I want to talk about because he's the least person I want to talk about, and that's just Ulf. Yeah,
Yo, he's a fucking loser.
yeah,
He's a fucking loser. He's a loser. He is deadbeat. He ain't got no job. Fuck him. I don't know why you cheering for him. You all deadbeats and loser.
yeah.
Like, no,
So
no,
like,
no. Go
I,
ahead. He a
yeah,
loser.
Ulf, man. Like, I've just not been a fan of the character since I've seen him. I've said all season that I'm just not a fan of this man because it's just art imitates life. I know too
Yeah.
many people
Yes.
like
Yes.
off that when you need him the
Yes.
most, it's just like, bro, what are you doing? And this is legitimately
Mhm.
why, like, they had to put that ban on him, and it's just the way he moves. There's a popular term in today's culture calling backdoor, right? And he
Mhm.
like and backdooring happens a lot where you have like a supposed friend
Mhm.
and then you end up like in gang territory or whatnot where you see a lot of people get killed and people were like, how? Oh, he got backdoored by your mans, right?
Yep.
And Omen and Rhaenyra both got backdoored by Olf, essentially. Like
Mhm.
he fucked over Rhaenyra and of course Daemon, right? We already knew that was in the works, especially from last week. And then he fucked over Omen, be like legitimately, like say, you know what, fuck you, and he killed him essentially, right?
Mhm.
And no allegiance to nothing, like didn't deserve a dragon to begin with, right?
Mhm.
And when these type of people get power and position, they're like the worst. They are like
Mhm.
legitimately, you give them a little taste of power and they are just drunk. And I know, like, like especially in my history dealing with YouTube, there was one particular person who like created a fan page and got a little drunk, right?
Yep.
And you just see exactly like what they did, and they
Yep.
were backdooring everybody, like all these other K-pop
Mhm.
groups and whatnot, right? So that's
Mhm.
like some trivia. I know Kayla
Mhm.
knows what I'm
For
talking
our
about.
past, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that is the Ulf character in a
Yep.
nutshell, right? They are only like they only swear by their next move. They don't think
Yep.
10 steps ahead. They don't think. That's the problem. They just don't think.
Nope.
Like
Nope.
it's what can fill my pockets like in 5 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got a dragon. All right, cool. I got a castle too. It's not so bad being a dragon rider. People don't respect me, right? Even I have a dragon, I still don't gotta. I still have no respect. It's like people who have millions of followers,
Mm-hmm.
and they still want validation because they feel like they don't like. Even though I have a million followers, nobody sees me. Nobody knows who I
Right.
am. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and like legitimately that is the off, and like this is the reason why I don't vibe with this character. And then seeing it play out,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, they are the first person to backstab you. You can't count on them
Yep.
at all. But hey, they got the platform, or they think they have the platform, right? Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you have a dragon, cool. All right, bro, that's cool. But I have a dragon. You don't think I deserve some more respect? I mean, you're just like one of us. What? Now I'm all right. You know what? Let me get a castle. I bet this man get a castle. He don't want the castle anymore. He want a fucking country. This
Nope.
man get the country. He's
Yep.
gonna want the throne. And that is the type of person, like, you give off an inch, he wants the whole fucking mile. And that is
Mm-hmm.
why I just never liked this character. Even when it was written, I mean, shout outs to the actor and everything, but it's just like that
Yeah.
character is just the one that I just cannot vibe with. So I'm not surprised he was like he fucked over Orman. He got beat down, and he the minute and then he uses
With
his
his pants down,
dragon.
by the way.
Yes,
Ormond beat him in
yes,
like the town square with
yes,
his pants down and dick and ass
yes,
full out.
yeah,
But Rhaenyra's fault.
yeah. It's going to be Rhaenyra's fault because she chose him, right?
She should have given me the castle.
She
Why she tell me not go out drinking with
yeah,
my broskies? It's her fault.
she anointed
If
him.
if she hadn't
Yeah,
warned me.
yep, she anointed him. So it's gonna be looked at, off is your fault. And then the townspeople that got burned alive, it's gonna be Rhaenyra's fault because she anointed off, right? And it's gonna be looked at as her oversight. And on the other side, off is like, well, who does he have to go to? Well, I bet he's gonna join up with Aegon because
Mm.
that's about it, right? Like there's nobody else. Like Ormond is cooked. Darren might be dead, right? Like we don't know. I'm gonna take bets that he's not dead.
Mm.
But I'm gonna say that what you call it, Off joins up with Aegon. Just seems to be the most likely union and pairing to give another dragon towards them. Obviously, Vagar is eventually gonna come back
Yeah,
whenever he does
he literally just goes wherever he thinks he can.
get
Uh,
his next meal, essentially.
yes, that's
Yeah,
what table can I sit at and whose plate can I pick off of until I have a whole plate of food, and then
yeah,
I need the whole table filled with food just for me.
yeah. So seeing that
Yeah.
play out off, I'm just like, oh yeah, I knew it. So I mean, like, it's crazy. The people who are, I don't question many people, but I do question the specific group of fans of Off that be like, yeah, that character, we love him. I was like,
Yeah.
I need to look at y'all, just a little, like a side eye, just a little bit.
It's people
So you like
who like
backdooring
the
your
lovable
man's.
loser. Yeah, people who love the lovable loser. And
Oh,
to
yeah,
turn. He had to turn because everyone was treating him bad. It's not
yeah,
his fault, and it's just like his actions are his fault. The way he's
yeah,
getting treated is his fault. At least towards the end there.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
And there's
he's a
enough people
loser,
like
and
that in
I
real life that are just like, yeah,
yes,
you
a
know what?
hundred.
Yeah,
I've had a couple ults in my life, so that's probably
yeah,
also why I fucking hate this guy.
yeah. What
And
you
I
think
know
about him?
the crowd of losers who also want to, yeah, who prop him up and like he's our
Yeah,
man.
that's our
Um,
bro, and I'm like, I'm side
sure,
eyeing those people right
yeah,
now because I'm like, all right, I offshore character, cool. Let me make a note of people who I should not be
yeah.
looking to associate
It's so
with.
funny because then people are gonna be like, just because I like a character doesn't mean I'm like that in real life. Doesn't mean I like these people in real life. I'm like, babes, I kind of a little bit does. Just
Yeah,
a little bit.
I'm not
I'm
saying
allowed to
you and
side you.
off, but I am saying that some things are questionable. I just keep an eye. You
Yeah.
don't. You doesn't mean you're going to be an off, but I just know
Right.
that if I got backdoored and you did it, then I shouldn't be surprised.
Right, exactly.
It's
And
like one
you
of
know,
those
I,
things.
I definitely want to say too, because I know a lot of people are like, um, don't understand even why Silverwing would choose him as a dragon rider, and also
Mhm.
blame that on Rhaenyra. Why would Rhaenyra allow all these people without fact checking them first? And I think the largest thing that people are neglecting to realize or want to throw into the conversation is dragons also choose. That's the point of Ulf and Hugh and Adam, at least from what I'm understanding, and even Sheep Stealer in the books choosing Nettles. It's the vibe check, right? It's,
Mhm.
hey, I like the sense of you, I like the feel of you, I'm choosing you to hang out in life with, right? So for all the people who showed up on Dragonstone during the Red Sowing, sure. I mean, even if Rhaenyra was just like, could have talked to everyone there, all the bastards of the Targaryen bastards of King's Landing, could have talked to them and try to feel them out. Like, sure, I'm not saying she couldn't have done that. Maybe get a sense of Hugh and Ulf, and like, hey, I don't know, I don't want you up in this, right? I mean, that's that. I think honestly, that would have people would have been mad at Rhaenyra for that too if she had done that. So, yeah, I think at the end of it all, though, it's the dragon's choice. It's not Sheep Stealer's fault that all that stuff that's going on with Rhaena. It's not Cyrax's fault. It's not Silverwing's fault. It's the writer. It's not Vagar's fault, right? It's they have an intelligence all their own, and they pick who they vibe with, right? And the thing slowly that's happening throughout this season is that yes, the Silverwing chose Ulf, but everyone else around him doesn't choose him, right? And that's what he has a problem with. That now that I have this source of power, now that like Rhaenyra, I am chosen, right? So people who are also conscripting to it's okay for Ulf to act this way because the dragon chose him, but not okay for Rhaenyra to feel the way she's feeling because dragons and everyone has and her dad chose her, right? Um, but yeah, he's bigging up himself, which isn't a problem, right? I think that's okay. I think it's like great. This powerful machine chose me. We vibe. I love it. That's great. Him wanting more in life, I don't fault him for either, right? I don't.
Mhm.
It's that would be like me not liking Massaria because Massaria is trying to seek more out of life
Yeah.
than what's been handed to her. It's like me looking down on Rhaenyra for trying to seek justice for all the wrong, like wanting more. I can't even like. There's even parts of me that can't even be mad at Alicent for
Mhm.
wanting more, right? It's
Yeah.
it's okay to be ambitious. It's okay to want a safety.
Yeah.
It's
Those
okay
are
to
all
want
fine.
status. It's fine, but it's all in how you deal with it and the people around you. That's the problem. With
Accountability, which there
Thank
is
you,
none.
accountability. I like with Ulf, it's very much just like, yes, it is very bad that Damon and Rhaenyra look down their nose at him. It is, and like we said throughout the season, it's like, damn, that really is fucked up. But the simple fact is, when you go from people who are highborn and treat you as lowborn, right? And even in a situation where you're all at war, but you're all expecting something more that in peacetime you would get, but this is wartime, but you're expecting peacetime gifts, doesn't make any fucking sense. It simply does not. Everyone wanting something during this mess simply does not make sense. Like, but people will people, right? It's
Yeah.
it's human nature to want things when it truly the situation doesn't even allow you to have them, right? Because not everyone would think of the bigger picture, i.e., all right.
Yeah.
So, but to turn coat and to go to Ormond, right? It's like I said last week. It's so stupid because you're going from one highborn to the other. In his head, it really all that matters is whose plate can I pick off of to get my plate full. That's all he cares about, and that's just not good. That's just not good. It's self-serving. It is self-centered, and it truly is just inconsiderate of everyone else around you. So even when Rhaenyra, knowing everyone knows that the gold cloaks are getting yoked up in the streets of King's Landing, right? So if it begs to question if that's happening, these trained knights, right? And that's a whole other
Mhm.
conversation. These trained knights are getting yoked up out of nowhere. You are not trained in the ways of knighthood.
Nope, not at all.
you are going around the town going, I have a dragon, I have a dragon, I have a dragon. So if someone cut you down in the street, what then? What then? So Rhaenyra was right to be like, hey, just hang out inside until this is all done,
Yeah.
and then we can work on everything else. I'm real stressed out, but hey, honestly, you are meant to work under me, and as your boss, I'm also telling you for your safety, hey, don't be going outside.
Yeah.
He went outside.
Yeah.
But then, as we see in this episode, one of the reasons why he shouldn't have been outside is because he cannot be trusted to do his job.
Nope.
He got drunk, was talking all that shit, and was found face down or ass down, pants down in a toilet.
Yeah.
Drunk off his ass.
Yeah.
So not even Ormond could trust him to do his job.
No.
Why are y'all bigging up this man? He is a low-life loser. He is a loser. And it doubles down to show that, like, you went to this guy who you thought was going to big you up. One, also because of misogyny. Because you don't want to support Rhaenyra, even though Rhaenyra also gave y'all the chance to get dragons. But I digress. Because without all that planning, you wouldn't have Silverwing. You still would be in King's Landing getting drunk and doing whatever the fuck you were doing, being a lowlife. And so you go to this man who you don't know, who you just met, who you think is gonna. They're all like, in your eyes, shouldn't they all be the same? But no, a loser looks for whoever they can glom off of, right? He's a leech. Olf's a fucking leech. So when he takes you up out that toilet because you couldn't do your job and you're not responsible, beat your ass with your pants down in front of all these people, those other knights are looking at you like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? And then you still choose. You still choose to go against Rhaenyra when you get on your dragon, and then go against the man who beat you in the street. You have no allegiance to anyone but yourself.
And that's the craziest part of it all. Like, the man who promised you what, like, you know, some riches, you just cook him. Hey, so yeah.
Even the woman who truly was just like, hey, we need to get this cleared up first, and then we could come back to this conversation.
Yeah.
No empty promises from Rhaenyra, none, but empty promises for Ormond. But losers don't care. They just think promises are gold plated, right? It doesn't matter that the earrings turn your ears green, right? As long as they look nice.
Yeah.
He's a loser. He's like, if I wouldn't be in his position because I'm not like this, but if I was beaten in the street, pants down, dick out swinging, shitty ass, because he has a shitty ass, and then I still do what I'm told,
like,
and like, haha, yes, triumphant, then he gets his get back. Or he only gets Ormond because this Cleon motherfucker had Ormond in the right position for him to get cooked.
Yeah, and
it's not like he went after Ormond specifically. Nah. Ormond just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time to get cooked.
Yeah.
And then for you to burn a city that had nothing, a town that had nothing to do with your bullshit. Fucking loser. I knew he was gonna turn on Rhaenyra, right? But I didn't realize that this show was really gonna double down on, hey audience, y'all love losers? Gotta love this loser even more. Fucking shitty ass out in the street, dick out swinging, and you still do what you're told. Fuck you, bro. Like, instead of just going back and doing your job. Just imagine if he had just turned around and worked with Daemon and like, he had a dragon. He could have burned those 2 soldiers that were with him after they killed that young squire dude. Yeah. And he could have just been like, well, you know, I guess I'm going to retake my chances with the queen because no one knew that he had betrayed them. Yeah. He had the opportunity to turn double agent.
Yeah. He could have done double agent, but he decided that, you know what? Nah, fuck off for everybody. And that's why I think he might join Aegon, because
most definitely.
The townspeople, like, you know, if we were to believe that, I mean, well, through Tubbleton, they would have probably heard of Aegon. No, they wouldn't have. Well,
No, because Darren
yeah,
and Gwen
they
didn't know that.
didn't know. So
Again, I don't. It's so
yeah,
inconsistent how news travels in this show.
yeah, because
So
that
inconsistent.
was crazy. Well, I guess
Yeah.
we'll transition into the Battle of Tumbleton. What did you actually
Mm.
think of the whole battle?
I think it's exactly what we said as the season was going on. They're gonna have a big flashy battle, and everyone's gonna cheer for this episode and
Mm-hmm.
overlook all the bad writing decisions and this season that's been a complete mess
Mm-hmm.
to this point. It's the same thing. It's the wow bang flash of the Battle of the Gullet. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
razzle dazzle you in the first two episodes, shaking those keys. Oh, look at how cool everyone looks, and people are dying in sadness. Oh, forget everything else. And I think that that's what happened. I I like how I will give it. I like how it shot. You could see everything, but it is a battle that's happening in the daytime.
Yeah.
Um, I um I don't know. I'm not saying like Damon is the strongest fighter ever,
Man, yeah,
but
he got
he
his
was
ass
getting his
beat.
ass whooped,
Yeah.
which was concerning. Um,
We were
I
gaslighted to
don't.
believe.
Right. The whole using of young boys as human shields I thought was very nefarious and evil. It really, I think that also doubles down to show you exactly who you should not be rooting for in this show, in this story at least. Because I don't see Rhaenyra using children as, I think even in her evilest moments, I don't think she's gonna conscript all the young girls to be like, stand in line, right? At least I hope they don't like, no, we gotta make her more evil. So she's gotta do the same thing this fuckface did. Um yeah, I think, I I don't know,
Yeah, that
I'm
would be
not
crazy if she did that.
right.
Just
And
saying, because like he's been a protector of at least a keeper of trying to protect some of the women around her. It's been
yeah.
getting looser as
Yeah.
the seasons have gone
Yeah,
on.
the season's
So
gone on. I think like, am I wowed by the battle? I don't know. I've seen, no, I'm not. I think I'm just so aggravated and annoyed by the overall shakeout of the story in the season where I'm
mhm.
just not wowed by what I saw. Um, it kind of feels like an inevitable considering that they gave Gawain and Darren an opportunity to talk peace, but with how they're really doubling down that Damon is a meathead, that this was bound to happen. And in battle, the innocents get caught up in it. That's what this show is also trying to show you too, that people who are not of higher standing get caught in the mess of privilege. And we knew that going in. I think that's also what Masari is meant to be the voice of, like, hey, everyone, we really need to think about this. We need to think about your subjects, and everyone's just like, I don't know about that. Um, to me, it's like once Corliss got captured and tried to seek peace, like this peace treaty with Damon. Yeah. And just knowing that how it all shakes out, that everyone's gonna blame Rhaenyra anyway for it, I'm not wowed. Uh, did it feel great watching Ormond die? Not particularly. I wasn't super invested in his trajectory. As I kept mentioning, he's the actor from the Jessie Ware Ride music video, and that's kind of where I was just like excited to see him because of that music video. Um, it it feels like it all. I don't know. This all feels like a waste of time too. If everyone's just gonna blame Rhaenyra for everything, why? Like, why bother? Like, I don't know. If I'm talking about it technically, shot really well. I liked how it was edited. I liked all the action. I could see what was going on. I think all the stunt work was done very well, super believable. Um, I think showing, the Stark fighters going in and not necessarily having a care also makes sense, especially for men who are just wanting to die and are in for the fight. they're gonna do their best to not kill innocents, but if an innocent gets in their way, it doesn't fucking matter. Um, and I guess that's to show the negative of both sides. Um, yeah, I don't know. At the end of it, Hugh crying over his wife's dead body, if she's dead, I don't know. They kind of left it a little, and it seems like she's dead because of how he was, but we didn't like get a super confirmation. Um, him again, someone else who's not listening to Rhaenyra to be in his place where he should be keeping a lookout. She told him from jump, send for your wife. Then you go talk to your wife, and she doesn't want to leave, and it's just gonna be like he's gonna be upset that Rhaenyra was told that she could be queen, and it's her fault for fighting for her rights that his wife had to die.
Mhm.
I think this goes back to then the conversation of her leaving King's Landing to go live with her brother because he up and left to go get a dragon. Again, decisions made in your own relationship that is going to be blamed on our main character. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Gawain and Darren with the back and forth, and Darren just like, I gotta fight, and it's just like, bruh, I don't think you do. Um,
Oh man. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. The overall, like for the battle itself, it's whatever.
Hmm.
For everything else around it, I could talk about, but like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be left thinking about this after we're done talking about this
I
season.
feel it. So the battle, it's what I think the same for weeks with House of the Dragon. It's your main distractor from a
Yeah.
lot of the you know bad writing going on, right? I think the battle, great clips, us being content
Yep.
creators, but to farm the shit out of that because
Mhm.
it just being 1000%, which every content creator or anybody who has a podcast, battle was visually cool to look at, right? There was a lot of cool
Yeah.
stuff.
Mhm.
Roderick, right? Roddy, right? That I believe that's his name.
Yeah, I think
The
like yeah, I think that's
the
part of
Roddy
his
the
nickname, but I
Ruin.
don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, to me, he's a Klingon, so I'm just gonna
yeah,
Roddy the Klingon. Like,
yeah. Like I
sorry
was
guys,
for
that's just
weeks I was trying to remember where have I seen this actor and other stuff I watched, and it dawned on me that he is Walter Flynn from Power. I know he was in Sons of
mm,
Anarchy. I've not seen it, but yeah, I just remember him being a demon in Power, and now seeing him in this, I'm just like, yeah, this is yeah, you're made for this role, being a demon. So
yeah.
he was my highlight of the entire battle. He embodied everything that I would have wanted to see in this battle. The fact that he got his arm cleaved off and said that, yo, man, I'm here to. He said, yeah, so you're just gonna go ahead and just fucking die, right? All right, cool.
Mhm.
I've been waiting for this. And if he
Mhm.
lives, he's just like, all right, cool. Where's the next battle? It's funny because he's the exact opposite of Ulf. Um,
Right.
like he's looking for. He said, what's my objective? All right.
Mhm.
When do you need it done by? All right.
Mhm.
This is who I need to look for. Bang, bang, bang. He is a go-getter,
Mhm.
right? And these are the type of people that you want to surround yourself with. Obviously, Damon did. And they're also, they're like he's like a loose cannon, but he got the job
Mhm.
done at the end of the day. And he's there laughing his ass off, like, yeah, we're about to fucking die. While Ormond, all right, let me say the highlight of that
Oh,
battle.
I,
Him literally driving that weapon up Ormond's asshole. All right, listen. I saw on Twitter, right, that people said that they didn't like Ormond dying because it's a loss for the LGBTQ community because a lot of people believe Ormond was closeted. Like he was a lot of some. I've seen the discussions where people believe he was
yeah, I
closeted
have to,
gay.
and I think
Yeah,
people really need to start thinking about how they talk about queerness and queer characters, and
yeah,
how actually everything that was going on was super homophobic. But
yeah.
yeah,
Because
gay
yeah,
rights.
yeah, because that I think on that, right, I think it was kind of questionable for that to be driven up his ass, right? Like it's like because like I the conversations if like lean towards homophobia, right, and homophobic stuff happening, and that's why I was just like, oh, that's highly questionable to have that be the the way Orman's going out. Yeah,
Yeah, considering that we haven't seen Orman with men,
yeah,
everything is subtext, and I think it's the same with Gwen. We haven't
yeah,
seen them, but that's also another problem with this fan base and how people talk about this show.
yeah.
It's okay for all the subtext to be there, but when actual queerness is involved,
No, nope. Yeah,
nobody, everyone wants to shit on it. Looking at you, Rhaenyra and Mysaria's relationship and how people talk about them. But yeah, that whole situation, super like it's sure it's shocking, and I was shocked, and it's funny,
yeah.
but
It's
I
like when
think
you
we
pull it back. That's
really
why
need.
I was just like,
It's super
wow.
homophobic. And it's like there's a mix of, well, this is how gay people need to die, by getting fucked in the ass. Like, but he's not even gay that we know of. But then also for him to be like, haha, this is how I got him, because I've like, and also to charge into battle going, you boy fuckers, like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. And then Orman slinging homophobia at Gwen too an episode or two ago. Like, look, I understand that, this isn't a politically correct time and what have you. Um, but everything, time and place, right? It's so wild to pull homophobia out of a hat. Like, all the conversations around Laenor in
mm-hmm.
season 1 are, hey, Laenor is a visible, like, he is gay. We know he's
Mm-hmm.
gay. He has a boyfriend. The big heartbreak that happens to him is when Cole kills Joffrey at him and
Mm-hmm.
Rhaenyra's wedding ceremony, right? And the reason why him and Rhaenyra can't have kids is because he is gay and cannot bring himself to sleep with her. We know in context, fully in our face, Laenor is gay. So is the homophobia wrong? Yes, because no one should be homophobic
Mm-hmm.
to anybody. But this just feels like, hey, we need to bring back the homophobia just because.
Yeah, because the way
And
that
haha,
happened,
that guy
yeah,
who gets fucked in the ass really got fucked in the ass.
yeah, like, because yeah, though he literally did it. Yeah, that's why I was just like, wow. When you look at the scene and you then you look at the community and how people are talking about it, I'm just like, oh, that's and that's one of the things that came on my timeline. So that's why
And I
I didn't.
know
Yeah,
already people are going to be using that to be super homophobic online. That gif, like, people are truly,
yeah.
truly, the vile nature of what just happened here and the after effects is going to be fucking wild. It's going to be crazy. It's
Oh
going to be
yeah,
crazy.
like so I wanted to touch on that. Like, you know what? I'm hoping that maybe, we're just, in over our heads and that we are making something out of nothing. But I mean, hey, that's a very like visceral scene. I've not seen many people like literally have a knife shoved up their ass given the character that they are. It's like, yeah, fuck Orman, but given the character that, you know, they are and whatnot, I was just like, okay, all right.
It
Is it
truly
me?
doesn't make any
Is it you,
sense, and it
Caleb?
comes out
Like,
of
yeah,
nowhere. And I will
yeah.
tell you right now, as a queer person, as a queer individual who lives in this world,
Mm-hmm.
I'm don't read too much into these things. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's very,
That's
it's
what yeah,
homophobic in nature, and it's
yeah.
violently homophobic, and it's such a really crazy stereotype, also, like, stereotypes at play here, that this prissy man who can't hold his stomach when he's met with smells and blood has to be a derogatory F word. I only use the F word
Mm-hmm.
in a positive way, but in a derogatory F word, needs to, like, haha, look at him getting a sword up the ass because those gay assholes be sword fighting and they take dicks in the ass, and haha, look at, it doesn't make any sense. It does, like,
Mm-hmm.
for what we've gotten of Orman too, we have not seen him being romantically, this is all rumor, so based off rumor, that's how he has to die.
Yeah. Which is yeah, because like him using what homophobia as a defense mechanism as what has been shown. And a lot of
And
other people
you
have
guys
been
also
using
gotta
context. Yeah, like yeah,
stop doing that.
a lot of people
Just
have been
because you
saying
are
that.
homophobic does not
Yeah,
mean you're gay. Please get that out of
yeah,
your brain. Just because you are homophobic to someone does not mean you're so deep in the closet. Yes, homophobia does exist within the queer community. I've had
mhm,
a lot of gay people and queer people be extremely homophobic and biphobic towards me
yeah,
my whole life. But no, that does not mean every other instance of homophobia and bigoted hatred that I've received are from closeted gay people. No, they are from cisgendered hetero people
yeah,
who use it as a gotcha to be hateful and hurtful. So please
yeah. That's
stop with this
what they're
narrative.
saying. Yeah, and that was pretty much what was going on. People was like, oh yeah, well he's using this as a defense mechanism, and you know, between him and Gwen and whatnot. I'm just like, you know, look, I people have you know the giant reach. A lot of people have a lot like have been reaching. I think that one is one of the big ones, like as a reason for why Orman might be like subtextually it might be closeted gay. I'm just like, yeah, because like that scene obviously that was wow, like that was crazy.
Yeah, it
And
was
it's one of
wild.
those,
And in the
yeah,
moment, it's like shockingly funny. But then when
yeah,
you sit with it, it's just like, it's not, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so
yeah.
bad.
That's why I was just like, oh man. So I wanted to bring that up. Um, in continuing with the Battle of Tumberton, did you have any other thoughts?
Yeah. I think it's important that we talk about all the men involved in that situation aside from Ulf and Ormond. Um,
Mm,
Damon, Corliss, Darren, and Gwaine. I think the whole Darren and Gwaine of it all is exactly, what a lot, what I don't know about everyone else, but what I've been saying is very much just like you can make a choice to go. There's like Gwaine kind of like I don't like him, but him pretty much saying, hey, he's using you. You know, you like especially when they didn't know that
mm-hmm.
Ulf was on their side.
Yeah.
Again, something Ulf could have used to his advantage, but digress. Just the simple, you don't have to die for other people's actions. I mean, that's one of the whole major themes of this, right? You don't have to die because other people are using you,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't have to go along with their plan just because they can only see their way. Yeah, so him going back and forth and like I'm still so confused why he's called Darren the Daring in this show. They haven't shown any of his feats. It's a lovely name. It's illiterate. That's fun. Um, if he actually died, no skin off my back. We knew him for all of 2.2 seconds. Um, I'm surprised Gwaine isn't dead. I do like Corliss suggesting marrying Daron to Reyna.
Mm-hmm.
Just to like, I think even the conversations of peace and trying to so that innocent people don't die, and it really is just one man pushing this town into the brink of a situation.
Yeah.
That we can all just come together and everyone could walk away from this if we just do political maneuvers, right? I think Corliss coming in the last 2 seconds with the whole idea of, yeah, now I could be the hand here on the field, bro. You should have just
Yeah.
been at your station. Y'all all wouldn't have been in this mess if you were just at work.
Damn shame.
Um, True, it really is because it's like there's also this conversation too, and I want to attach it to Alan and Adam's interaction, where Adam all of a sudden is now just like, hey, we got to save Pops, and it's just like,
Yeah, out of
sure, I
nowhere. Yeah.
guess, and then being upset with Alan, I'm Adam. Wait, which one is? I always forget what.
Alan is the bald. Adam is,
Thank you.
modern
Is,
day.
is, is
Um
my who put me in a sandwich? Yes. Where Alan just goes,
Killmonger, modern day.
I'm kind it's kind of just like I'm here to work and yeah, we got a job to do. At the whole change up of, you know, Adam initially going, hey, we have this blood, we deserve a place in the world, right? We
Mhm.
deserve comfort. We should desire more than just being a footnote in his story, right? Which again is something that a couple people are doing this, right? Us, having ambition for more, for comfort, for security.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so him just like going, it truly is just like I would have looked at my brother and go, well, he should have been at work.
Yeah.
Which he does, right? He goes, he should have just been here. If he was here, he wouldn't have gotten captured. We can't, it like everyone's just like, we got to save the one person. It's just like, well, that one person should have been at work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plain
Should
and
have been.
simple. It's again, he made a decision to go out there to not listen to Rainier, to play Rainier's face, and then he gets his finger cut off. It's his own fault at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like Ulf, you are a person of power in this team's opposition. You are none of you are safe. If
Yeah.
you all just stick together as a group, like it feels like a horror movie, right? Everyone wants to split up. And we all know what
Let's split
happens in
up,
a horror
gang.
movie when everyone splits up. You all die one by one, or someone gets caught or maimed or some shit, or maimed. He got maimed. Um and no one just wants to stay together and to figure it out. Everyone just like, yeah, everyone truly is so selfish in this show. But yeah, just doing that last minute, let's talk politics to a man, like you said, who doesn't want to talk politics, and that's been very super consistent of Damon's character since season one. So everyone going that, oh, Viserys should have just crowned him hand and then made him king, and married Rhaenyra to him. This is why Viserys didn't make him hand. This is why Viserys didn't have him as his heir, because Daemon does not care about politics.
Mm.
And being a monarch, a king or queen or a ruler, you have to care about politics. You have to. That's what a lot of what we're seeing here, right? Rhaenyra trying to navigate the politics of all this, and Massaria also trying to navigate this, and Daemon just being a meathead. Like, no, we have the brute force. We just have to use brute force, and everyone just going. But there are simpler ways to do this where innocent people don't have to die, and we can prosper. He's just like, yeah, no, that's not what I want to do. So Corlys, in like trying to do that Hail Mary, truly is just like, well, you really should have just said this to Rhaenyra before, like Rhaenyra would have listened or heard you out
Yeah.
instead of
Well.
just now you're like Damon's just like now you're my prisoner. What does this do for anyone? Nothing.
Yeah.
You've already had issues with Damon up to this point, especially with what the fallout with your daughter and all that stuff and how that went down at Lena's funeral and him marrying Rhaenyra and you having a very contentious relationship all throughout. For all of a sudden for you to be like, man, see reason, bro. You guys haven't even talked to each other. I can't remember the last time these two men have talked to each other outside of hey goodbye, even that. So
Yeah.
trying to make him like I understand Gawain trying to make him see reason, but it really is just like, well, you're all at fault for how we got here. And then truly Damon learning his lesson the entire time. Rhaenyra and Masari were both like, hey, there's another way to do this. If we just go in guns blazing and just throwing bows and shit, throwing the dragon bows everywhere, people are gonna die. And it just like he tries, like Damon tries in the strategy meeting before all hell breaks loose, right? Just we have to keep Rhaenyra's image up, but in this type of chaos and not knowing all the pieces, especially in something like this, you don't even have eyes on your other dragon rider, and then another dragon rider comes in and doesn't talk to you, like he doesn't greet you or anything. He's just there. What like
And it's gonna fall on
and
Rhaenyra.
yeah,
All of
and
this
then for the
disorganization.
yeah for the end of it to be like the error of my ways. The error of my ways. I mean, if they want to pull that card that he has some kind of growth in this situation, instead of just like, I knew we couldn't trust Ulf, fuck him, to go like, damn, I guess they were right. We can't just go breathing fire left, right, and center because crazy shit happens.
I mean,
Hey, I should have.
that's character development. Meathead
Yeah.
understands that you can't just rah rah Hulk smash everything. Yeah, that's a some minor character development, but it's not a whole lot. Now, if he becomes like a whole fucking pacifist and is on
That's crazy.
like the Vinland Saga Thorfinn, I have no enemies, and I'm just gonna be like not fight anymore. And that, bro, you would
That would
kill.
piss me
Yeah,
off.
you would kill his character for me. He can't be Thorfinn. You can't. He can't
No,
just
no,
stop
and I
fighting
mean,
out of nowhere.
and it would be the change in characterization that's like now Rhaenyra needs a fist and you don't want to fight.
Yeah, like
When she
she
was telling the
needed.
whole time, like, hey,
Yeah,
we shouldn't do this.
yeah.
Like
Nah,
he
I
like
can't. I don't see that happening for him. If the writers do that to him for season 4, the show, yeah, bro, just put in
like
to the garbage.
truly like I think Tumbleton is a perfect example of all the people. I mean, this whole season is, but it's one of those really top 5 examples of no one was listening to Rhaenyra and everyone wanted to do their own fucking thing, and a mess happens.
Yeah,
And now everyone's gonna walk out with like it's like walking in and seeing the baby covered in peanut butter in the kitchen, like that famous video.
yeah,
But somehow it's the mom's fault for the baby having peanut butter all over themselves.
yeah. It's
Like that's what they're gonna walk. They're gonna walk in like this to Rhaenyra, like whoopsie. Oh, baby made a mess. And she's gonna be like, great, now I gotta clean it up. And everyone's gonna be like, Rhaenyra the Cruel, she sends her crazy ass husband and her hand to do fuck shit. And I would literally be like, Rhaenyra can't win. I mean, truly, that's the narrative. Rhaenyra can't win.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's so, like I said, this really is a show that it was crafted to piss me off. Um, because at every turn, especially in this season, everybody undermines her. Everybody undermines her, but in undermining her, still makes their actions, they're going to blame her for it.
Yeah.
Well, if you just this and if you just that, well, hey, you're an adult with more than one brain cell. You made the active adult decision to do these things. Please don't turn to me to clean up your mess.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna
it's
have to because now now I'm
craziness.
wearing the crown and I gotta hold the seat here. So you know, okay, Sarah, Sarah. Yeah, it's just super aggravating. And yeah, Damon really was getting his ass whooped. I think someone's gonna have to let us know what his fighting skill level is. He's been in a lot of fights and a lot of wars. He's super strong. He does the damn thing, but he was straight getting his ass whooped. Like, and I'm not saying that other guy is not stronger than him, but I don't know. I kind of tally it in the whole thing of everyone around Rhaenyra is incompetent and can't fight and do anything.
He's supposed to
But
be a
everyone
renowned
around
warrior. And that other dude was giving him the beats.
that dude was getting business like straight up. He's like,
Yeah.
Today I'm serving you knuckle sandwich," and David
Yeah,
was just like, "Great, I'm
special
hungry."
delivery, these hands.
Special delivery.
Yeah.
And yeah, it really just feels like everyone around Rhaenyra can't do anything, but everyone on the opposite team can fall into doing everything.
I mean,
So,
isn't that life? The way it just mirrors. It's pretty insane how that battle went considering everything.
hmm,
In terms of even with Ulf's I guess you say heel turn, he was really he to me he was always a heel, so it's not like he just
hmm,
turned heel again.
right,
Or it was a face. Nah, he was never a hero to me.
yeah.
But yeah, like especially from Corliss, like what I don't, bro. He's always just been thinking, and it like more so like thinking about like what to do, to secure his family, and of course secure his lineage. So that's why I thought it was pretty amusing the way that Alan was going about things. Like when those other like the other man was just like, hey, where he like who are you to talk to us like this,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Alan
Mm-hmm.
had to set them straight, and he is like, hey, well the hand ain't here, Corliss ain't here. Now it's Big Allen, Big A time. Like
Mm-hmm. It's the A time.
like
I'm for it.
during that battle, Alan also showed his resolve by Rhaenyra giving him the go ahead. He's like, yeah, you know these old gods, out with the old, and with
With
the older,
and with the
with
new,
the new,
oh,
but
and with the
the
older.
older.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like, you know, the
Yep.
gods you believe in, they're older than them. They're higher than them.
Hmm.
Fuck them.
Hmm.
Like, he's
Yep.
just like, all right.
And
Meanwhile,
it's
the son, like, you know, her other, right? Yeah, her son, right? Yeah, her other son, right? Right?
Joffrey,
Yeah, Joffrey. Yeah.
Rhaenyra's son,
Yeah,
Joffrey. Yeah.
yeah. Like, like he's just looking behind. He's like, that man just stabbed. But
It's
he's
very
just
much just
been
like he
getting,
walked in like, wow, I was on vacation and I came home and everything's real crazy, Mom. What happened
yeah,
while I was gone? This poor, it's just like a lot's changed.
yeah. Now
I ain't got two brothers.
I'm
A
the
lot's
heir.
changed.
I'm the heir now. Like, bro, what?
Yep.
Like, you just dropped this. Like, he's like, hold on, ma'am. There's a lot that I need to process. Like,
I've been
I'm
I've been
what?
sleeping for 3 days. I gotta figure this out, Mom.
Bro, like, my that's too much. That's too responsibility. Too much. And I'm just like, yeah, he's just like watching people get murked left and right, hearing about dragons. Then he's watching his mom make this proclamation. Like, what is she on? You got everybody
No,
else
it
looking
really
like,
is
what
just
is she
like
on? Like,
it's like he really went on like summer camp and then he
yeah,
came home and now everybody mad. The
yeah,
cabinets have changed. Everyone's redecorated. Mom's got a new boyfriend. What is going on? Like
yeah.
he don't
Like,
know and he's just trying to play catch up. He's like, my brother is dead. When did no one told me when did that? I have a lot to. He has a lot to like take in.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just like and then to jump that off to you know jump that off. We'll get to Helena in a moment. To jump into the Bela and Rhaenyra conversation as well, and I don't quite understand how everyone got it into their head that Rhaenyra just uses everybody. And I'm not saying to an extent she's not, because when you
mhm,
are the boss and these are employees, you have to use them so that you get profits and your company goes up. You know what I mean? I think that's also what people are forgetting, that she is their boss, right? Even though they're family, right?
mhm,
Every you're all conscripted into this war that she didn't start, that the other faction started. So if you don't want to be here,
yeah,
like again, no one wants to do their job. And for Bela, I understand the disconnect, because as we've been saying as the series is going on, Rhaenyra just not engaging with the other women around her except for Alicent leads to this style of thinking. Her not embracing and discussing anything with Bela, her not like, and the whole thing with Rhaena too is not even her fault. She sent Rhaena away. This shit happened. She's just meeting Rhaena, and it's not like she's just like, I need to execute your sister. No, she's just like, I can't talk to her right now because this is a lot going on, right?
yeah,
It's like now everyone's got it into Bela's head, or in everyone's head, that if you're around Rhaenyra, you're just her weapon and her tool. And it's just like, well, no,
yeah,
I don't understand why that's to me it feels like such a cop out that has to be the explanation for everything, why everyone is being so selfish and playing in Rhaenyra's face. Well, you're just using me, and it's just like, babes, aren't you using me too for safety, for status? Like, if I'm queen, you get all your needs met,
mhm. Yeah.
right?
It's
You
one
all
of
bent the
those.
knee to me and what my father has decided.
Yeah,
But I'm using you as a weapon?
yeah,
Oh, I'm
it's one
so
of those
self-centered.
where
Excuse me.
Bela.
I started this.
Yeah,
Go ahead, go
I'm not
ahead.
gonna say, it's one of those where Bela is now starting to show arrogance, right? And it's not like, you know, and
Mm,
I hate to keep bringing it up, but it's just so apparent that everyone around Rhaenyra unfortunately is incompetent. And like, legitimately, it was like Bela, you know, a few episodes ago, or episode 2, is like, yeah, you can have my head. I'm sorry, I'm the reason why Jace is dead, right? So all of a sudden being like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna try to call you out your name, and this is why Rhaenyra can make a statement like, insolence runs in your blood. I mean, it's her
Mhm.
blood too, but it's like, but
Right, they're all sharing it, but it's like,
but yeah,
it's like now you're acting like your father, who
yeah,
also talked wild to me. Now you're acting like your grandfather, who's talking wild to me. You
yeah.
were talking wild like your uncle, who was talking. Even when I was married to your uncle, he
Hmm.
was talking wild to me sometimes, and not being there, though we managed. You're
Yeah,
like, y'all are truly doing too much.
yeah.
Like, should Rhaenyra have grabbed up Bela in the face like that? No, she shouldn't have gotten physical. But like, for what the show is writing for this character, like you said, and we've discussed, everyone around her is incompetent. Everyone around her plays in her face. Everybody at this point is playing in her face. Everyone is blaming Rhaenyra for these situations, right? And
Hmm.
then, except for she's a little bit more lenient with Allison up, so I could see where it's just like, well, it really is just like she had that crack in psychosis, and Baylor chose the wrong time to speak up. Oh, we gotta go save my grandfather. I would have been like, bro,
He
which is what
deserted
Rainier said.
me.
Hey,
Yeah.
he deserted me. He should have been here. Why y'all all want to save him now? Not like y'all were out there going to go talk to him
Hmm.
to tell him to come back to work. He
Yeah.
made his choice.
Yeah.
I will get, like, it truly is. I will get to him in a second. Oh, he'll die, bro. He should have been at work.
Hmm. If he would have been a
Oh, I've
hand,
been
he would have been. He would have had. Well, he would have had his whole hand too. So, yeah.
right, and then truly, like, um, like, I could see where I don't blame Bela for the misinformation about Sunfire, but it also feels like, did you check its pulse? Like, I'm so surprised that Sunfire came back to life too. I think we're all a little trying to figure out that one. But it really is just like that thing of, well, we know how it ends, so he has to come back to life regardless.
Hmm.
So we, the audience, know that whatever he's dead wasn't he was dead. It was just dumb how that all again, just dumb how that played out. So like, for her to think that Sunfire is dead, I get. She could have checked its pulse. I don't know if you could check a Dragon Ball. Like, I don't know. But even Aegon thought Sunfire was dead and was surprised that he like strolled
Yeah.
up in the forest in the nighttime at the end. So, but it is frustrating to be like, well, I was given this information and the information was false, and I'm already turned and angry and annoyed, and I got to get shit done, and you want to come here complaining to me about what?
Some BS, essentially. Yeah.
And do I think Rhaenyra should blame Bela for what happened with Jace? No, I don't. But that's fucking stupidly how the show is writing this situation. Um,
I mean,
Jace
it's
made a
one.
decision, and
Yeah, it's
it's
one of
not
those where I can
easy.
see
It's
it from. I mean, not being a parent, but I can see that
right,
being the typical reaction in that situation.
right. It's everyone who survives except for mine. You're gonna feel pain about, and
Yeah.
like that's natural. Um, and you're gonna feel a bit of resentment towards, like, that. I can understand that from Rhaenyra, but it truly is just like the show wants to isolate Rhaenyra in such a wild way that you kind of just look at it overall and go, I don't. Why are we doing this? Why it's like you said at the beginning of this. It's everyone's so incompetent and no one's listening and no one is fully helping out and everyone's just doing what they want to do, so that when Rhaenyra is in full villain mode, it's like, well, I could do bad all by myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like, yeah, for everyone to all of a sudden be like, we need to go save Corlys. Everyone just going, well, he should have been at work, and no one just, and then the people who are just like, you know what, you're right. It's crazy. He punched in and then walked away, like, and he didn't punch out. I feel like you're doing this on company time. Just
Yeah.
be at work. Just be at work. It's his decision, and it's not like Rhaenyra was just like, no, we're not going to save him. It's just like, okay, we gotta 1, 2, 3 this. So yeah, I think like the push for it's gonna be like, now the Valarians just have to group up together and think about themselves and fuck Rhaenyra over one by one because she's so angry about everyone else, and it's her fault that all this is happening, and she just is using us all. It's just like, babes, you want her to go save all your asses left, right, and center, and then not. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, honestly, that peace treaty, Corlys talking to Damon, fucking dumb. He should have said that. He should have been at work talking to Rhaenyra about this stuff. That stuff with Rhaena, all for what? At the end of it, for Rhaena to go through all this bullshit for us not to even see her in this episode, but for her to go through all that bullshit for Rhaenyra not like we knew Rhaenyra wasn't gonna kill her,
Mm.
and now she's with not now she doesn't have a dragon again, so we're back to square one with Rhaena. So all that trauma to do what? So that
We'll see.
Rhaenyra could continue to traumatize her and be nasty?
Yeah, I mean, right now, Reyna is most likely going to be Rhaenyra's punching bag next season. So look forward to that.
Yep.
Because we need another
Great.
reason for Rhaenyra to truly be a villain. Why not be a villain to, your hubby's child, aka
Yeah,
your
to your husband's
stepdaughter?
kids.
Hey man, you gotta if
To the black kids.
yeah, if Raina's about to be Cinderella out here.
Yep. And I saw someone be like, watch her banish them to Dragonstone, because I think in the books Baela is like ward of Dragonstone while all this is going on, while Rhaena is in the Vale under mentorship with Jane Eyre, the woman who slapped her in the face. So like it's like now as a punishment you both have to go back over there, and we are honestly not going to see much of them at all next season
I won't be
either.
surprised. I won't be surprised. I mean, like if Rhaenyra's gonna get cooked, then at this point,
It's like
yeah,
truly the character directions of this show are so misguided and dumb. Like I don't mean to be like, well, I don't like this show. It's because and I don't like the show, and because I don't like the show, this is stupid writing. This is me watching the show and trying to engage with it and go. I'm trying to understand the directions that we're going and the decisions that we're making, and for all of it to not make any sense except for you to take your main character and just make her look bad.
yeah.
Like if you wanted to do that, you should have just had her killing babies from jump.
Well, you got to build up to that, and that's what they're.
I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, especially with
like,
these test audiences and what they utilize a lot of. I mean, they do it for movies with test audiences and what people can stomach. So I don't put it past them to try to do the same with how many revisions and scripts they want to write for this. It's like it seems that they really wanted a villain protagonist. They went in a really roundabout way to get here.
Just in the craziest way to get, just like everyone around her is stupid, so now she's evil. Like
everyone around her is stupid, so now she gotta be full on, like she gotta start making even more dumber decisions, because if everyone around her is incompetent, her decisions have to be even more incompetent. And so that's how people are going to remember her rule as, oh dang, I remember that really bad ruler we had. What was her name? Shh, you can't talk about her. They'll kill you if you talk about her. She has to be stricken from history.
Yeah, she who not be named, not to mention that bitch's work, but truly it's gonna be Rhaenyra, she who should not be named. But like it's just like so crazy to me. And then for people to take away that Rhaenyra is incompetent and can't do this job, but then completely ignore the incompetency of everyone else around her is super crazy to me. It really just feels like they want the show to be like, if you get around Rhaenyra is dumb and everyone else is dumb too. But if you get around Alicent and everyone else is dumb, but Alicent's really smart. Aemon and Aegon, Damon, really smart sometimes. Yeah. Corlys, as long as they're not around Rhaenyra, they're really smart.
Some people can make better decisions, but for some reason, when they get around Rhaenyra and it's time to make actual decisions, nobody can make a fucking real can make an idea stick.
No one wants to be responsible for anything, but everyone wants to make Rhaenyra responsible.
That's the name of the show. Accountability. Yeah. I guess speaking of accountability, I was gonna say to transition towards the character that we didn't really get much from this episode, but when they were on screen, it meant a lot, and that was Mysaria.
My girl.
Her role in this episode. Yeah, and what this means for that relationship, which is what I said last week. I was like, I was expecting the fallout to not be favorable, I wasn't expecting it to be legitimately like this. The next episode.
So
Yeah.
here's a really bad thing I'm gonna say, and
Mm-hmm.
it's pissing me off because I thought about it as soon as it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just have to put it out there because it's what happened. Uh, so Rhaenyra actually treated Massaria like a whore. She slept with her and then put the cash on the table
Yeah.
and
Said
told her to
bye.
get to
Yeah.
stepping.
Yeah. And we were talking about that before we began about how people like look at Masaria viscerally, the reaction towards her like online, and just a lot of the talk with it about how Masaria is just a whore and that's all she is essentially, and a lot of people hate Masaria's character for the things that she does just for Rhaenyra
Rhaenyra to treat her
to
as
treat her
such.
as such and discard her. And she got Rhaenyra legitimately got what she wanted out of Massaria last episode: affection, someone to tell her all these niceties and things, and then discarded her the following episode. And relieved her of her duties and everything because she no longer can trust anybody, not even herself. But that is one
Yep.
of the new character wrinkles that's being added to Rhaenyra overall. But for what this means for Massaria is that, well, hey, you been preparing yourself for a situation like this. At least that's what you're trying to tell yourself. And this is what you were told last week, that at the end of the day, these people and you are not on the same playing field, and you will never be given the same validation as them as you think you believe, right? Like, you're not gonna be a highborn, right? They're only gonna see her as a whore. Unfortunately, that is what like Rhaenyra just did to Massaria. And it was one of my things that I was bringing up last week about the relationship, um and how it would turn out, because like in like questioning, well, what are they getting out of this? And I mean, it sucks that this episode you clearly see that I don't think either one of them had real affection for each other, and it was literally
Ah,
for me, I feel like
trans.
it was
You think it's
transactional.
transactional?
I think it was transactional. I think at points Rhaenyra did have affection. I don't necessarily, like, for me, think Massaria had as much of affection as it was more so her survival. And I think her survival outweighed affection, but it doesn't mean that there wasn't a part of her that wanted to make things work. But I think things also changed when she killed that lady, or had that lady killed, to protect her secret, and she started lying. I think that's also like changed a massive portion of this, because her life, like, even though she's in this society as well, those other words still cut deep for Massaria. Um, and it's always one of those things where she has to continue to look out for herself, despite her surroundings. And I don't think that feeling, I think that feeling just only compounded as the days, the weeks went on. Even as being, in this position itself, the way that Rhaenyra would be like, "Hey, well, you're just trying to drive a wedge between me and Damon." I mean, sorry, it was, and it's not like she wasn't, but at the same
But I mean,
time,
that's what the
yeah,
show turned around and just made her character to be like, I have
yeah,
to steal you away from this man, and
yeah,
but that's part of the problem of this entire show.
yeah,
They're yeah. But go on
yeah,
before I get into my
yeah.
very heartbroken situation.
Yeah, I was just looking at it, and I was trying to see, well, how are they going to continue to develop this relationship? And I guess we got their answer. It was literally over.
They don't want to.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't want to. They want to make sure Rhaenyra is isolated.
yeah, because I said last
Um,
week that Massaria was the last person who Rhaenyra had left, and it would be heartbreaking if the secret got found out. Now we're just not gonna. We don't even. I didn't expect this. Like we don't
It
even
did. It
need the
didn't. It
secret.
honestly didn't even. Yeah, it didn't even matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, and to me, that's more of the shock. Like, wow, we don't even. She don't even need it. She just. I think this is like one of the more cold-hearted approaches that they could have done, and it's not that Masaria is like say leaving Rhaenyra, is that Rhaenyra just cut off the last piece that was needed in her villain transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, because she was like, you know what, nobody around me is competent. Everybody is always on my case, and it's everybody else. Like I need to be more selfish. I need to like get my bearings, like and yeah, shit hit the fan once Damon was just like, you need to be a monster, even though she's like, I don't want to be a monster, but this might be what you need to be. And she listened to Damon at the end, instead of trying to conform what she was talking about last week, to Masaria. And this is all because Aegon has been seen again and is alive. And so, that messed with her mental. We saw it mess with her mental, and she got advice from probably the worst person that she could have asked about this, because that man has nothing else on his brain but, hey man, flex time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
muscle for brains, legitimately. And we've seen where that's gotten him. I mean, he'll protect his own daughter, knowing it's funny how Damon fears Rhaenyra that much that he can't even talk her out of most like trying to murk Rhaena like last week and whatnot. I meant to mention that last week. It's funny how much Damon fears Rhaenyra to that point, but it's so comfortable like doing all this fuck shit around her.
Yeah, but he's choked her.
Yeah,
He's choked her out.
yeah,
Been super aggressive. Tossed things in arguments. Got in her face. Intimidated her.
hmm,
Um, up and left her. Was just like, fuck this shit. I
yeah,
gotta bounce. Was not as she and Masari in season 2 quite guessed it, was seeking his own claim to the throne. His whole
yeah,
entire arc, first half of Harrenhal arc, is call me king, not king consort. And
yeah,
and the diva Simon Strong was just like, I'm not gonna do that.
yeah.
Like, ooh,
Like
I'm not gonna do that.
he could do
But
all
okay,
that,
okay, friend.
all that,
Um,
and to get the benefit of a doubt.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Wasaria,
but then all of a sudden, ah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yep, yes, yeah. Yeah. Yes. 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 Um. Let me know. Let
yeah.
me know
That
if I
that that
can.
was that was my last thing. Yeah, where I'm just like, it sucks that I saw it happening. Um, but even I could not have predicted that it would just be as you said it. Like she just like, hey, thanks for last night. Here's
Here's
the
the
money.
cash. Thanks for last night. Last night was fun. Um. I gotta go to my. I gotta go home to my wife now, or I gotta go home to my husband now.
Oh God, no matter how you put it, it's just
There.
terrible.
There's. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's food in the fridge. Feel free.
yeah.
I gotta. I gotta go home.
You were
Like
nice.
that's.
You were. We had a
Yeah.
ball. I
This
had a
was
ball.
fun. This
This
was
was fun.
fun. It's fun.
And the writers was like, all
Look.
right.
And it really upsets me, and it really does piss me off. As I've stated, Basaria is my favorite character. There's nothing in any of her actions where I can't think about thoughtfully and carefully, for what we've gotten of her and her situation to even where we're at now. Um, I can dislike some of the writing choices for her because it does seem a bit inconsistent, or you're making her one note instead of making her multifaceted, and it's really aggravating because again it's like, and I have to bring up the Allison comparison. You want us to feel bad for Allison, right? Allison had a hand in everything that's going on, but you want us to feel bad for her, right? You want us to understand her and sympathize throughout the whole thing, right? And to a point we can, right? As I've said several times before, growing up, all her situations that pushed her, her father pushing her into this position, her father brainwashing her. Girl, I feel for you. I really do. The whole thing with Viserys, I yeah, it's the thing I talked about where you dream of this thing, and then once you get it, it's not how you want it, and it's really a nightmare. And that's Allison's marriage and childhood, or uh, teen into adulthood.
Mhm.
But then she makes decisions, and then she terrorizes this other woman, and now she's all of a sudden like, you, whoa, who spilled the milk? Like, we all spilled the milk, but like, Rhaenyra, please. Okay, so we didn't get too much of Massaria and see. I mean, I think we here and there, right? We got her interactions with Damon, Damon playing in her face, Damon putting her life in danger. She says it to him when they are in the room in Dragonstone after the situation on the bridge with Otto and Rhaenyra and the eggs, and she tells him straight up, "I told you I'm not having children." Lets them all know that, hey, I am a lowborn. I'm a whore essentially. Your brother will not allow me to marry you. This will not elevate you. You are using me to get at him and to get at your niece and to get at his hand because, like, haha, look, I'm on the wrong side of the tracks. Look at my slut. Like, that's what he's doing. And she calls him out on it. It's like, I'm not playing this game. I'm not. And then they don't see each other for a long time. In that long time, she elevates herself and is no longer just a worker. She is a madam. She builds a house, she builds a home, she builds a network in King's Landing. She gets all the info. She becomes an important information broker to Otto. She knows the movements of everybody. She's very well aware of the fighting pits and what Aegon has done and the bastards that they lay. She's a girl. She had to come up, right? And she made herself important. She made herself of note. For then Otto and Allison and Laris to be like, well, no, fuck you. Took it all away, right? And you're just like, damn. She tries to escape. She's the only, like, if anything, the only survivor of them burning down her house, her home, her people, as she lets Rhaenyra know in season 2. She's then caught, kept prisoner by Daemon, is like pretty much yoked up by Daemon, um, and then in her interactions with Rhaenyra, as Emma Darcy and Sonoya Mizuno have discussed in interviews, these are two women who are connected by this man, right? But who aren't quite aware of the trauma that this man, like, they don't know of each other's shared trauma that this man has imposed on them, are very hesitant of each other, right? Very like, can't trust you. You are a Targaryen, right? I'm sorry, you're a Targaryen. You're married to this man. Um, and everyone around you has made my life a living hell at this point, and I just want to go. I don't know you enough to betray you, and I just, please, I just want to be on my way. I just want to be on my way. And Rhaenyra doesn't know her. Rhaenyra just knows the White Worm, right? And all the and the gravitas that name carried in King's Landing. If anything, just a little bit, right?
Mhm.
I think Alicent knew a little bit more because of Larys and them sharing information about what was going on. And even from Otto, I'm sure Otto shared some things about where he was getting information from as well. This is where we get Alicent mentioning the White Worm, Masari's previous title, in this season, and trying to placate her with, you know, I remember when you used to be big and bad. Are you still that big and bad bitch? Um, but in Rhaenyra setting her free, Masari's just like, you could see it. It's just like, wow, okay, you kept your husband's word. I'm allowed to go. I don't got to be involved in this. She's grateful for this. She's great. It's like a shitty situation, but like, great. You saw to a point where I don't need to be held here. You're trusting me enough to go, and I'm just gonna skedaddle. And then Masaria makes the decision to save Rhaenyra's life, right? And then they have
Mhm.
that conversation on the parapet where Viserys sees this as an opportunity, right? There's no affection there. It's just like, you gave me a chance. You saved my life essentially, let me go, and I'm saving your life here. You didn't die. Um, and it's just like, I want a job. Even if I go out there, I don't have anything. This is an opportunity for me to build up my life again. And she uses it. It's survival, right? It's Masari has been a creature of survival. Um, and in their interactions of Masaria counseling and trying to navigate this, there is an understanding and a comfort that's building within their relationship with Rhaenyra to Masaria, of Masaria not judging her for preconceived notions, of just getting to know her and trying to guide her as best she can with all the information that she's had previously working in King's Landing, right?
You mean
And
Rhaenyra, right?
Rhaenyra,
Okay.
right, yeah.
Okay.
And then Rhaenyra actually having someone who's listening to her, right? Because no one else around her was listening to her. Daemon fucked off. Damon hurt her. And I'm sure at first it was like a shared understanding of, yeah, we have this connection with him. He fucked us both over, and this is how we're coming together. But in that, building their own relationship. So then we get to their episode where the kiss happens. And it's that thing where they're sharing intimate histories and thoughts and feelings in ways, and being open and vulnerable, that in ways that they were never allowed to be with anyone else, but they're able, through this growing relationship, able to be with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So an affection happens there, right? I'm sharing this very traumatic thing that happened with me. You're sharing the pain that you're feeling, that you're going through this traumatic situation that's happening to you. And yes, though it is, if we're gonna trauma Olympics, two quite different things, right? You're mentally scarred by, I mean, no, at that point, Rhaenyra is physically scarred by it too, because she's lost Visenya and had a miscarriage, um, and is cut by Allison as well. So yeah, she's physically scarred as well. And she could have died during the miscarriage, but she didn't. So yeah, they both have mental and physical scars from their lives, though they are both of different social statuses. There's the connection there, and it's the buildup, and that's why the kiss happens, right? It's this
Mm-hmm.
thing where if you're in, and I know a lot of people are like, it came out of nowhere. It doesn't. You guys just haven't been in those kinds of relationships where you find a connection, a slow building, burning connection with someone who sees you and you see them. And then all of a sudden you guys get real close, and it's just the heat of the moment, through conversation, through vulnerability, and a physicality happens. So up to that point, I'm just like, to me, I was just like, I get it. I've been in situations. I get it. Um, to then, as the season was going on and that intimate moment happened, nothing else physical happened with them. And it kind of felt like towards the end of season two, not that they were ignoring it, because they were getting closer, they were leaning in, they were looking more at each other, right? With vulnerability and a bit more comfort in those interactions. Though few, it was there. Massaria always being by her side, being more visible at the small council table on Dragonstone, even if she is on the stairs watching from above in the shadows, she's still a presence. Alinda is going to her. The maids are going to her. She's working a connective tissue there, even with all the other men going, why the fuck is she here? Why are you listening to her,
Mm-hmm.
right? They built something to then come into season three. And the show, at first, it does seem, with the interactions between Damon and Massaria, that jointly they were just like, look, we don't like each other, but we kind of had to put that aside just a little bit, because this is about her, not about us, right? And that's why I was just like, that's okay. I can see that. You can hate each other's guts and be in each other's faces, but she's the most important person to both of you. That should that should be where we go. And
Mm-hmm.
the writing decisions decided not to do that. The writing of the show for Damon and Masari, it was just like, no, they need to be squabbling the entire time because they can't get out of each other's faces and want to be teacher's pet. And it's just like, they're adults. Why are they acting this way? Why are they sniping at each other? And then to double down on that, because Masari is a bit more careful in public with her sniping, to double down though on everyone else at the council treating her as less than. And then you double down on it with Masari the entire time being one note of, you have to send Damon away. You can't trust him. So all that's build up in season two, where they were understanding each other and talking to each other about different things, and Massaria was trying to build up Rhaenyra's confidence and validate her. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
also a big crux of their relationship. Rhaenyra seeks validation from Massaria because Massaria truly is the only one to validate her and her claim the entire time. Jace is too, Rhaenys to a point. I think Baela and Rhaena as well, but we don't get interactions with them and Rhaenyra. But in the interactions we get with Rhaenyra and Massaria, she's like, nah,
It
You're
seems
queen.
it seems like they like because I know from when you mentioned it for season two and just from like other source material and whatnot that there was no relationship for them in the books, but it's in they it seems that whatever path that they were giving this relationship they walked back to
Right.
where the
Thank
book
you.
was at
Yes.
to make sure because from wherever is supposed to happen in the books diverges what's supposed to happen for Masaria's character, but it's like I guess by giving this more of intimacy in the beginning would lead like it all seems as a part how do we further continue the downfall of or not the downfall or the downward spiral of Rhaenyra,
Of
and
Rhaenyra.
that's what this was thrown in because if
Yeah.
Massaria and Rhaenyra are supposed to be at odds regardless, the adding of the other person from last week's episode for episode 7 that told Massaria like you're a whore, you're always gonna be a whore, and then with the way that the actions of this episode played out, where that's what Massaria gets treated like, and it like I guess it calls into question, why what did Massaria treat that transaction like last week? Was she treating it like, hey Rhaenyra, I'm telling you everything you want to hear, but I'm treating you like I've treated other customers, instead of what this could have been an actual relationship. So, because last week I think you look, I don't know how, I don't remember what we said. I don't think we really touched upon whether it was like a transaction or anything like that. Because I don't
So,
think,
okay.
yeah,
So I've had a week to sit on it. I think
yeah,
it's transactional to a point on both their parts. They're both
yeah,
playing that game. It's not just Massaria manipulating Rhaenyra, it's Rhaenyra also manipulating Rosaria.
mm-hmm,
Like look, the thing is that in watching their relationship, and as I said in episode 6, if there isn't something that happens between them, then they really truly do not care about queerness in a sense on this show. What they want you to care about is the subtextual queerness
mm-hmm,
between Rhaenyra and Alicent and hold on to that instead of uplifting the actual queer relationship between Rhaenyra and Massaria that they plotted out,
mm-hmm,
right? So again, it's like they're giving you something. It feels like, well, here, damn, shut up.
mm-hmm,
Like that's what it feels like. Like here, damn, shut up. And then we're gonna take it away and destroy it. Like so. Having Massaria truly be one note where she's just antagonizing or getting on Rhaenyra about Daemon instead of doing other things, it's like, okay, well, of course, Rhaenyra is only going to be like, you only want to drive a wedge between me and Daemon because that's what you're writing her as. Massaria is crafty. Massaria is smart.
mm-hmm,
Massaria has her wiles. She has her ways. Otherwise, how would she get to the status that she was before her house burned down? It does feel like they were just like, nah, this woman is now on super survival mode and has to make sure that now that daddy's home, she has to keep her spot. You could have wrote it that she could still keep her spot without antagonizing and Damon. Like they made it so that, and it's so sad because this is what a lot of detractors have been saying about this relationship, that Masari is just a placeholder.
mm-hmm,
And this truly just doubled down on, like, it feels like it made that truly real. Masaria was only there to be the flavor of the moment because Rhaenyra couldn't have Alicent, because Rhaenyra couldn't have Daemon. Now that she has both of them, she doesn't need Masaria, so Masaria is disposable. It's such a slap to the face because you take this very intelligent woman, this survivor who's going through her own shit, who's had to come up twice, to be
mm-hmm,
like, she doesn't deserve it because at the end of the day, she's a whore. She can't be ambitious enough to want more, to have a comfortable relationship with someone who she thought saw her, because that person that she was vulnerable with now also subscribes to she's a whore, even though Massaria in season 2 is just like, I'm just a whore, and Rhaenyra is pretty much, I don't see you that way, girl. That's not what
mm-hmm.
this is. That's not what you are to me, and that's not what's going on here. So now we have to walk that back so that we can isolate Rhaenyra more, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's fine if Mysaria betrays her because Rhaenyra also treated her like a whore like everyone else does, so then that just reduces Mysaria's character to, well, yeah, she is a whore. And all you naysayers and all you people who hate Mysaria, you were right. You were right on, instead of actually crafting a relationship where they didn't even need to end up at the end together, right? I'm not saying that, like, it's a nice lofty thought, right? But it really does feel like, well, here, damn, she can't kiss Allison, so she's got to kiss someone. Damon can't see her, so someone's got to see her. So here's this placeholder. um and it's just so disrespectful. It's so nasty. And to have it play out in the way that you have Allison to her face going, well, you're never going to be one of them, so stop thinking you are, to Damon constantly antagonizing Mysaria at the small council table, to then the other two calling her a whore straight to her face and at the small council table. So it just and then to, I think her name is Sylvie, to Sylvie to be like, no, you're just a whore, you're one of us, stop thinking you're more than that. It's like, it truly is like, hey, women, stop thinking you could have more. Stop thinking that you can get to a position where you can help people, because even when you dress nice, it doesn't fucking matter. You're still that bitch that, whose father assaulted her, whose throat and belly got slit, and who was passed around, and whose house burned down. You'll never be anything more than that. It's just like, if I'm gonna compare it to Rhaenyra going, well, she can't be queen because she doesn't know how to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
We have to write back like character development and what the characters have done within the context of the story to be like, well, no, villain time. So, like, if Mysaria at the end with that look of, damn, that's crazy, betrays Rhaenyra, you're gonna be like, well, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rhaenyra's stupid, and Mysaria is an idiot for trusting her. Everyone told her she was a whore. That's all she is. Now look at her now. So it's just, so when they had that scene last week,
Mm-hmm.
in Mysaria's room where Rhaenyra seeks her out. It's not like it was a daytime thing. Rhaenyra sought her out to confront her because she was aggravated about what was going on with Damon, with Rhaena. So it's like, it's a mix of, I need to go to someone I know who's going to hear me out, because again, that's what they built the relationship as. Because Mysaria is going to always listen to Rhaenyra. Mysaria is always going to be an ear, and to them going back and forth of Mysaria just going, well, no, you can't trust him, and Rhaenyra's going, well, I can't trust you, and then everyone's just like, well, why the fuck are we trusting each other? So of course it's like, I'm gonna antagonize you, right? Because I need you, because I trust you enough to validate me, right? Because that's what this is. So that's part of what's happening in that scene, right? Where it's half vulnerable, half, I need you to tell me I'm her, right? And the Mysaria going, well, I do need to protect myself. And okay, if this is what she needs to hear, then this is what I need to say. Where she believes it, but it's also putting on a little razzle dazzle, because that's what Rhaenyra is there for, validation. And when you've worked with people in the way that Mysaria has, you can read the signs of knowing this is what someone is looking for. Trust me, I know. You just know that this argument is just so that I can tell you what you want to hear. So I'm going to tell you what you want to hear. And then in that, it's them both being open, vulnerable, and manipulative. They're both playing each other, which again just which dirties up the relationship that you built
Mm-hmm.
on trust and vulnerability, to going, no, they can't even have that, because, well, now Mysaria has it in her head that she needs to scheme and manipulate even Rhaenyra, and Rhaenyra has it in her head that, well, if everyone's fucking with me, she's probably fucking with me too, right? If everyone's playing my face, she's got to be playing my face as well.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I keep her around?
Yeah, instead of me being
And
betrayed,
then,
I'll betray her first.
exactly. So what am I gonna do in the morning? I'm gonna put the money on the bedside table and tell her, sorry, babe, I gotta go home. This was fun.
Yeah.
So narratively, the show really is doubling down on, Everyone views Masaria as a whore. The one person that they put into the narrative to not treat her that way ends up treating her that way anyway.
And it hurts double because of what happened last week, where it gets
Right.
thrown in her face that, you know what, she really was never going to be a part of this society, and society just, gave her a taste of what could be. And that's why everything was being thrown in her face last week, out of because it did feel,
Yep.
it felt
It's
out of
it's
nowhere,
like
but now it makes
we gotta
sense.
remind you.
Yeah,
We gotta remind you that you are less than.
yeah, because it came out of
That's
nowhere.
again, you can't. No, it really did.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what those little interactions the entire time between her and Damon and between her and everyone else
Mm-hmm.
is. It's the slow buildup of stop wanting more. Stop thinking that you found a comfort in someone else. That this is your get out, right? That this is that you believe in someone and someone sees you as more than what the world has forced you to be.
It's
Oh no, 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 sweetheart.
bro, it's so crazy because I told you that I just finished watching the first Equalizer movie,
Mm-hmm.
and now when I look at it, and Denzel Washington's character tells Chloe, Chloe's character that you could,
Mm-hmm.
like, you don't have to hold yourself to. She was like, "Oh, I'm just basically, what I do for a living."
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Well, you could be so
Mm-hmm.
much more than that." Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
And that's what
crazy that
season
this
two set
is,
up for the both of them.
yeah,
Rhaenyra going, I see. Well, the situation that happened, right? It's
yeah,
crazy how we got here, but in our interactions and what we've built up, you are more like boldly. You are
yeah,
more than what the world sees you as. Only for the show to turn around and go, no, Rhaenyra thinks the same way.
and that's a part of her villain saga.
And
Yeah,
it's just so wild to me because again, it's like the show needs to hurt every single relationship around Rhaenyra while everyone else gets closer. So we need to continue to isolate Rhaenyra, and that's why it's so harmful and it's so dangerous too because this is a sapphic relationship. So there is a tone of homophobia as well. Because it's like this sapphic relationship doesn't count for shit. It doesn't mean anything. Again, we don't care about the contextual relationship. We want you to only care about the subtextual relationship between her and Rhaenyra and Alicent because we want to make you sympathize with Alicent and continue to hold the torch for them, and they are the end game, though nothing has happened contextually between the two. But we know that the shippers are driving the ship, so we have to keep that going. Oh, also, you guys love Damon so much. Get her out of here. Like it's just so, and she's an Asian woman. She's a woman of color. She's a queer woman of color in this show. So it's so harmful the narrative that's being built around, and I know people are going to be like, well, no, it's because you guys don't look, you guys are playing like negative 2D chess with writers and media instead of looking at the overarching representation of queerness, of blackness, and of color and of women in through media. You guys just want it to be so level based without thinking about the overall effects of it. And you are part of the overall effects of it because of how you guys talk about Massaria. It's so crazy to me that you guys are like, I don't want to think deeper than this, but then are part of the problem. Like, again, I love their relationship. I love their relationship for what it started as. I was like, oh, I get it.
mm-hmm.
I get it. It was the first sapphic relationship in media that I saw in a long time that actually got me standing up and going, huh, okay. Like, I haven't felt about a sapphic relationship the way I felt about Rhaenyra and Massaria since Dany and Jaime in Bly Manor, and that was 2020. Like, invested in how we can grow these two women from opposite sides, different social statuses, different journeys in life, and how they can elevate each other and help each other out. And that's what you guys were building, only to be like, well, no, fuck this. And then to be like, no, this Asian whore is only an Asian whore. Like it's so crazy to me. It's so crazy, and it does feel like it invalidates, especially with how they handle the dismissal of Masaria at the end of it. Right? It feels like it just invalidates the actual, like, I know I'm circling it, and I keep it, the contextual queerness and the sapphic relationship at present. Why do it if you're just gonna do this? Why? Why are you work? It's like, and then again, yes, to be like, now Masaria has this little secret for it to mean nothing.
Yeah, because that's the biggest part. Like, it's not gonna mean anything even if Rhaenyra finds out. In the next season, she's already discarded Masaria, so now you don't have this thing of the secret meaning something more for this relationship, because now there's no relationship. There's nothing. Masaria is like, yeah, I'm not gonna I'm gonna do my own thing, right?
Unless
Yeah.
unless what they do is like, which I don't, I'm just, it's a possibility, because you have Masaria then leaving, trying to save another like queen, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way she saved Rhaenyra, right? Coming back, they're trying to end cap that with her giving Helena a warning,
Yeah.
right? All, at the end of the day, all for what, right?
Yeah.
Um, but to be like, so Masaria getting, instead of just going away, which thank God, because it's not like I want Masaria to leave. I love this character and I love Sonoya. I would love to see her in season 4. So obviously she's coming back for season 4. Um, but like, to have it either be like, well, now I have to work against her, right? Because she betrayed me in such a way. So now I have to work against her, and whatever befalls me, again, is my own fault. Woe is me. Or I'm the only one who can see her for what she is, so now I just got to figure out a way to get back to her. So it's that yearning of, I'm the only one, and then Masari just looking stupid. Like, so it's all roads lead to just bad characterization. Or I can't even say that, because this is the characterization we have. It's just shitty characterization.
Yeah.
To take this intelligent woman who, this survivor who had to come up twice over, to then reduce her into, well, now she has to go back to being shifty and shady, or she's going to be the eternal yearner and doing things to undercut Team Green to actually help Rhaenyra, for Rhaenyra at the end to be like, yeah, you were the only one ever for me. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Either trajectory is just bad. So how do you turn back to the people who told you straight up, you will always be one of us and you can never be anything more? You turn back to them, and for them to go, we told you so. We told you
Yeah.
so. And now you want to hang out with us again? I don't think so. Or she's just on her own.
Yeah. I mean, given what her fate is, we'll see how they spin that up,
Like,
because
yeah. And that too, like, very much
yeah.
just like, she was by Rhaenyra's side to the end, to the very end in the books. I mean, like
Yeah.
I said, she was super duplicitous in the books, kind of playing all sides, but still very, I'm Team Rhaenyra. I'm working
Yeah.
with Rhaenyra to the very end, and that's what gets her cooked in such a way that, like I said, if they then still do that, I'm literally going to everyone's house and punching them in the dick.
Yeah. It is, yeah, like, wow,
'Cause
but
that's just more misogynistic and violent and horrendously horrible. And again, the way that ends is like, well, you're a whore, so what do you expect?
yeah. Oh my.
Again, feeding into the fevered nature of people hating on this character for no reason, aside from misogyny, homophobia, and racism.
Yeah.
Like, there's no actual for people to be like, oh well, she's not doing anything. Okay, blame the show for taking this woman who was doing stuff and then made it so that she isn't doing anything. Blame the show. Blame the show and its writing for her.
Yeah.
Like, look, no one understands this character. No one understands Masari the way I understand Masari. Nobody. No, and I know that trust me, I do know that there are people who do. And I am seriously joking, but also very serious about it. Like, she is my favorite character on this show. Her betraying Rhaenyra, either way, like, I wasn't that upset about it because there is a part that understands that you do need to hold on to things to for your own safety. That's what they're all doing, right? Everyone's got a secret to keep to keep a card up their sleeve, right? To pull out the ace when the chips are down. A lot of gambit stuff happening in my mouth right now, but like it's and it was a smaller thing because it's not like it took forever for Rhaenyra to find out about Helena's pregnancy. And it's not like Alicent was just like, Mysaria knew, right? It's not like Alicent threw Mysaria under the bus, right? So it wasn't even that big of a turnaround of them both finding out that Helena was pregnant, right? It's crazy that she lied to her because I don't think that she should have. Um, but it's also like, well, if it's getting to a point now, even the show is showing that Rhaenyra is mildly disregarding Mysaria at a couple turns, right? She isn't going to her for counsel. She's instead going to Alicent for counsel that we're all seeing happen. Of course she's gonna have an ace up her sleeve because also how can I use this against Alicent and Helena? The fact that I knew she was pregnant. But then for Rhaenyra to find out 25 minutes later, what does it matter? What did
Yeah.
it matter? Again, what did this secret matter to anything at the end of the day? Except
Nothing.
for making Mysaria feel bad.
Yeah. It didn't. It really didn't contribute to anything now that they've gone this route. Yeah. Well, it did contribute, and I mean to something at the end of the day with the secret. Well, I guess you could say. Well,
A maid lost her life, I guess.
yeah.
That's sad. We didn't know her either. That's really shitty.
Yeah.
I wish that again, and I also to have I don't know. It also feels a little weird to me for Mysaria to have a young woman killed instead of moved, like just shuffled off somewhere. So
Yeah.
also like, see, this woman who's all about women empowerment is also violent towards other women.
Yeah.
So
That's
nobody really isn't for no one stands on anything. Oh, the small folk. Okay, well, she's a maid, so you're gonna like I guess to be like, how much does Mysaria really care? Mysaria just cares about having a warm bed and a roof over her head. I mean, don't we all? But like,
yeah.
again, it just feels like the things that we set up, we're writing back. This feels like a very X-Men 97 problem right now. The things that we're setting up, we're gonna work our way back and start and go to zero.
Yeah. She's
I look,
yeah, the way that they
I
put this
I'm
together. Mm.
yeah, truly, I am I'm really upset that the way they ended this relationship literally was Rhaenyra treating Mysaria like a whore.
Yeah.
And I'm so scared to go online to see how many people are going to be laughing in Mysaria's face about it. Like, it's so crazy to me. And also just to not even have Rhaenyra go to Mysaria and have like the only conversations they have had is mostly about Damon. What
Mm.
what was the point of this relationship?
To further, well, to further Rhaenyra, that she literally was the one of the final pushes towards Rhaenyra's character transformation, and that's what she was pretty much used for. Because what never,
To be
yeah,
like
yeah,
You see how evil she's become? Instead of just going, hey, she can keep one trusted advisor, she could keep someone in her corner to try to be the voice of reason. Because now it just seems like everyone else just wants to be the voice of reason because they were pouting and didn't get what they want. So now it's just
Yeah.
like, now we gotta stop the evil. The entire time, Sorry was just like, yeah, girl, it's you. But instead of, like I said, the whole speech, I think if Masari was there, she'd be like, babe, I think we need to just cut some of this
Yeah.
down.
I mean, when Sorry was
Just cut
there,
some of this down.
like listening to this whole thing, like, bruh, like, what? Yeah,
Bro,
she's
I would have
gone.
edited here. I would have edited there. Just like, truly, I guess she is the monster Allison said she was. Like, come on. Come on. It's so heartbreaking. Like, it's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. Like, I can't even feel bad for anyone because of how dirty they did my favorite character.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
I
I can
truly,
understand it. Yeah.
I feel bad for Reina. I feel bad for Bela because I don't understand the narrative around them either and what's going on. It's like Rhaenyra's only trusted lady friend is the woman who
Mhm.
stabbed her in the back 15 times. Allison.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, and then now Allison's gonna cry and be upset because Helena did it. Yeeted herself
Yeah.
out the council. So like, I don't. The, uh, the show is just truly bad at writing women. And I will say to Helena as well. It's just bad. It's just bad. And it's really bad at just trying to create a narrative that like it doesn't want to sit with that women are complex and multifaceted, that women can be evil and sit in their villainy and their evilness. Women can be traumatized and make something out of their trauma, that women can start out as something less than and what people devalue and take that and be like, I'm not what you deem me to be. That is a part of me and I am more than that. No, no. And then with for Rhaenyra though, it's the very much the idea of, well, if you deem yourself more than that, you're fucking crazy and you deserve to die.
Yeah. A lot of the female characters, like you can see the loss of their agency, throughout the series as a lot of it goes on, and just how they allow themselves to just be constant victims after showing strong, like you, when you have Rhaenyra becoming more power hungry, right? Like if you think about how the Game of Thrones was for a lot of the characters, a lot of people are more power hungry. You don't really see you see more victimhood amongst your female characters, than showing them to be power hungry. Well, now Rhaenyra is about to be power hungry, but look, it took a whole how many, like 6 years, essentially 6 years or however long this has been out for, to get to this point, especially when you have about, what is it, 8, 16, 24 episodes to get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, damn, when you think about 24 episodes, not really a lot. But this is what they're trying to tell in this narrative, and it's kind of crazy, I guess.
The
Yeah.
Helena of it all and the Aegon and Aemon. Look,
Well,
real
hold on,
quick, we
hold
could
on.
just touch on Alice and Aemon.
I have to pause real quick because my mom. Okay, so I guess to get towards the I guess the end of this was pretty much Helena, and I mean the Aegon and Aemon thing of it all is not really much to that, context wise, because we talked about it earlier in regards to Rhaenyra. Um, we know what's supposed to happen, based off of Game of Thrones. Spoiler, not spoiler, I guess you could say. We already know that Aemon is his triumphant return. I think the people online talking about generational run of, for Aemon, and his fans. I mean, like, sure.
What did it, he what
Yeah.
he did all of got stabbed and then was in bed and then had fantasies about sleeping with his mom. Um and he's
Yeah.
sad about the relationship between him and his dumbass brother. What
No,
generational
no,
run?
no. I mean, I think that I mean Aegon. I think they're talking about Aegon, like his
Oh, but
comeback. But
Aegon, I guess.
yeah, like for him, it's like Sunfire, and it's literally one of those things where those characters just kind of like lucked in, and he just seems to just have the luck
Yeah.
of the fucking the world. There's people like that in the world
Yes,
where you're
both
just
of them.
like people
Yep.
just continue to just get away with this shit. That's Aegon essentially, and Aemon. I
Mm.
mean, like it was sad hearing what happened to what's her name, Alice, right?
Alice.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was sad happening. What happened with her? But he's like, yeah, you know what? You're gonna be my betrothed now. I felt bad for you before, but you're damaged goods, and that's what he's looking
Damage
at
goods
her.
too.
Yeah, we're both damaged
Yeah.
goods. Let's be damaged goods together. And I think that's what it made it more comical when Aegon was like, "What the fuck is this? My betrothed?
Yeah.
You got what? You actually don't? You actually have one of those? Like, they were trying to make Aegon's character so comical. I mean, he looks comical with the way the special effects and the burn scars and everything on him. But yeah, it's his come up. It's all so that he can get back on the throne, and that's why I was saying with Helena, the opening theme, right? And I can see why some people were saying that the opening is like pretty much a spoiler of things. Because if you look at what the opening itself is like the whole knitting of, and that's what Helena was knitting essentially. And
So now
I
who's
can
gonna end
see,
the opening for season 4?
yeah, and I can see Rhaenyra looking at what Helena was knitting and seeing it as herself. But given that we both know the context, it would be Aegon who's there. But Rhaenyra's gonna be like, oh, the dreamer. Helena's last message before she left. Look, this is me. This is me, right? Because the blonde hair. You guys all have blonde hair, and well, Aegon ain't got much hair, but you guys all have blonde hair, so that's why she would see it as her. But you know, um, yeah, that I thought the way that Helena went out was pretty sad. I think it's one of those other tragic characters in a way. You know, yeah. I mean, it's not really much. I mean, I personally sad about Helena dying? No, but I'm sad for some of the other people who really love the character. Did
Yeah.
she have to commit suicide, and she just wanted to be a free spirit essentially and be absolved of accountability.
Hmm.
Whether it was her fault for a lot of things or not, and the people around
She
her
played a
wasn't. She
part.
played a part. She was an enabler. At any point in time, as you famously say, she could have got on her dragon and fucked off, and let people find her, but she didn't do that. um she had a really nice Dracarius, last week, and
Yeah.
she decided that this world, she rather damn Rhaenyra's reign and call her ugly and all this other stuff than to see her prosper and everything. So it
Yep. Instead
was,
of trying to
yeah,
figure out how to work together.
yeah.
Yep.
She said, nah, fuck this shit, I'm out. And
Like,
she chucked the deuces and said, good luck with the rest of your reign, because I won't be here to see it. I can see. I was wondering why people were putting the Magic Johnson meme for Helena, just like as we were taking a break real quick. Like I was like, yo, but Magic Johnson did this to the Lakers. He was just like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And I'm just like, oh my
mm,
god, that's Helena. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I don't have no other real thoughts for those.
I mean, yeah, Aegon, like, I agree with you. It's just, I'm gonna luck my way to the top. Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, I did that
it's
as the scene was
literally, yeah,
happening. I
yeah,
literally, I don't care about their feelings. I don't, again, people who made active decisions to be horrible men and are just on the come up again, how I'm just like, Massaria can be abused, beaten, and broken to get a come up, and everyone hates her. These two asshats fuck everyone over, but yeah, men are so cool. Like I just fucking hate it. I don't care. I truly do not care.
Yeah.
Um, and for Helena, it's look, she's already in a sensitive mental state. Masaria's final words, and Rhaenyra
Yeah.
force feeding her,
Crazy.
like at the end of her rope, so to speak. So that come out is very. I
Yeah.
see how we got here. Um, and to also have Allison their entire time growing up, Helena's entire time growing, well, her kids' entire time growing up, and then in this season, the entire time going, Rhaenyra's going to kill you, Rhaenyra's going to kill your kids, Rhaenyra's going to kill you, Rhaenyra's going to kill your kids, over and over and over into her head sticks. Masara going, she's going to kill you, and she's just like,
Yeah, at the
yeah,
very
I
end,
don't.
yeah, she was like, yeah, she's
At the
gonna
very
betray you.
end,
Yeah, don't
yeah,
trust her.
yeah. So that's why I'm just. It's so aggravating because it's so sad seeing the abuse that like look, she's a bystander at any point before the big craziness happened. She could have gone on her dragon, flew to Dragonstone to be with her sister, right? She didn't have to tell her mother. And it could have been under the guise of, if even if at the time after being married to her brother, could have been
Hmm.
like, yeah, I'm off to go fly. I want to be out on my dragon. I want to feel the air. Who's going to stop her from flying to Dragonstone if
Hmm.
she's like halfway over there? No one's gonna know.
Yeah.
She could have just been there already. So another adult making these decisions
Yeah.
and being inactive in their fate, right? So that's also I'm just like it's really sad to see the way that the Rhaenyra's relationship with women is developed because she can't be understanding, and if she's understanding to a point, people throw it in her face, and then she has to become abusive towards other women. Um, so with her her looming over Helena last episode
Hmm.
and strong arming her a bit, like getting a little rough with her, to then force feeding her instead of just going, all right, fine, you want to waste away? Waste away. I'd like, you
Yeah.
literally could give her the option of starving to death. Either she'll get hungry or Allison will come back and Allison would feed her. But to cause more physical harm to another woman is such a wild thing to watch happen for a woman who's been assaulted to have that at her command towards another woman is
Yeah.
crazy work.
I
I don't know if that happens in the books, but that is again very wild. Um,
like it's one of those things that I don't think like I don't necessarily think Rhaenyra has been an ally of women as much as she's been conditioned to be a
that's
monarch,
fair.
right? I think she's more
Mm,
so conditioned, because of her family, to always be power and whatever, essentially, like in what she's been taught and what she's been groomed to be, essentially has been a ruler, or what she thinks herself is she should be the rightful heir, right? And there's people that's going to get sacrificed, men and women. And I think the way that for her story particularly wouldn't be the same, say, Massaria, who has been, through the throes of life, right?
mm, mm,
Where you can
mm.
see her as more of an ally of women because legitimately of her circumstances.
Right,
Um,
right.
I would
Yeah,
say,
Rhaenyra and
yeah,
Mysaria truly in that vein are
yeah,
different, but it is very hard to stomach watching this woman go, well, I'm not saying I want her to be abusive towards Allison. I'm not saying I
mhm,
want her to be abusive towards anyone, but it's just it contextually, it's like for the show also wants us to feel great sympathy for Helena and her whimsy, dreamical nature that she can't make a decision because everyone thinks she's so kooky crazy.
yeah,
And, oh, she's such a she's a sweetheart. I won't say that she's not. But then to have someone else come in like Aegon abuses her, Allison manipulates her and trauma dumps on her. Eamon yokes her up, so Helena is now everybody in the family's punching bag,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
just crazy. Um,
Yeah.
and it's like, again, they don't need to have a sisterly relationship. Everyone in their family made sure that they didn't, and they themselves, it's not like they did much to try to build a sister. Like, they're both at fault for not trying to bridge the gap, right?
Yeah.
Even though I will double down on Rhaenyra and understanding that there is such an age gap between there and being away on Dragonstone, and if you have your ex best friend going, stay away from my kids, you're gonna be like, all right, well,
Yeah.
I will stay away from your kids. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's what you want. Okay, I'm out. No, no problem. Um, so, it's just very hard to. I'm not. I look for where Rhaenyra's mental state is at this point. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility. It's just very hard to watch, like, the show go. Now we're gonna have Allison be accosted by her son.
Yeah.
Allison is now accosted by someone on the council. Masari is treated like a whore the entire time. Reyna's getting smacked up. And then it in the gutter. Bela is not getting any sleep and is macking on a 30-year-old man for some reason and is getting the cold shoulder from her stepmother and her father, honestly. And now Helena is now being abused by Rhaenyra. Also, hey, remember that uh throne room scene where the Septa lady was just like, hey, we had a girl die, and now just women are abused all the time, everywhere, by everybody. And it's like, okay, sure, let's double
Yeah.
down on that theme. It's just like I said, it's just narratively, I have to watch the level of violence that queer people take, that black people take, people of color take, that and that women take, and how the story is being crafted around these themes and these subject matters. Um, and also how it wants us, like I said, it is very much just like we have to see Rhaenyra as the ultimate villain at this point. The ultimate villain in a point of that she's not willing to understand her kooky, whimsical, soft-hearted sister. So now she has to abuse her because she's not getting what she wants. Tell me what I want to know. Uh, it's just I'm not buying it. It's just very sad. Yeah. For Helena to jump, I get it. Like I said, she was going through a lot. She's spiraling in depression. The only other person that she semi trusted was her mother, and she was not there. She straight up said, I don't want to be alone. And then everyone left her alone. But it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to look at it from the understanding of depression and mental illness and
Yeah.
suffering from those things as well. That in that you can't see that, hey, maybe I can go at this situation from a different way. Maybe there's a way I can talk to Rhaenyra and work it out. But it is very on, like, that conversation that they're having is like, you're calling Rhaenyra ugly. You're trying to connect with her about the bug thing. Girl, of course she doesn't care about the bug thing. It was nice for her to be like, hey, we can see them in the summertime when they come up. It
Yeah.
does feel like a slap to her face, like, well, this is what you've all been saying to me. I really am the outlier in this family. But to straight up be like, Dad would think what you're doing is ugly. And it's just like, girl, but you played a part in all of this. Two, you are not without shame in,
Without.
in,
Yeah.
in this
Without.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not without your part played into the situation that you're all in now.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, it's just so weird for everyone to look at Rhaenyra and go, everything that's happened is your fault.
But that's how the narrative is going to be crafted, and um, like I said, it's not that it's not warranted at all. Because Rhaenyra's gonna have to take accountability regardless, because these are the people who she's surrounded herself with.
She has around her,
Yeah.
right?
And so she has to take culpability in that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to be responsible for the decisions that they make, or
Her teammates, right?
yeah,
In
her
her
teammate,
name.
yeah, in her name, because she's decided to surround herself with these people. But it just feels overwhelming, how much people
Yeah.
are going to blame her, and how people can look to even the people around her when like if they try to usurp her from being a tyrannical queen and whatnot, how the people will look at it, oh, they're justified because she's
Right.
nuts now. She just ran amok, and this is going to be their justification for how they talk about her for centuries, years to come. And that's the part
Yeah.
that's gonna suck, especially because I don't think that they're gonna be able to stick the landing in terms of
Mm.
making it that, like, because it's easy to just make her just kill a she kills a bunch of children. Episode one, people are gonna be called. We'll be as a viewer, I'll be like, all right, well, you got your point, but anybody could just kill children. Up like, hey, we just saw this man, Damon, just kill some children. So, all right, but it's Rhaenyra demanding it, or like her, like how much more crazy and evil or villainous are we going to now make her do things in order to justify why she had to die? Because that's where
It's
we're
just
going towards. Because people already want to kill her
yeah.
regardless. Yeah.
Right.
So now,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
just like I said, the overall show is like it really is a form of punishment. I think at this point, especially wrapping up this season
Hmm.
and watching her have say that crazy self-aggrandizing religious psychosis speech coordination to everyone, like killing the the guys, the religious dudes. I don't fuck them. I don't fucking care. Like I said, I was really hoping that she would have just like been active and pushed him into the candles so his ass would have caught on fire. That would have been fun. Um, but like to then have her counsel, like she's just surrounded by men now. So any female relationships the show has thrown away. She has no other women around her. She's a woman alone, surrounded by men. But the woman that she is going to have around her is now going to doubly hate her because her daughter is dead. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have sent me away. Why did you send me away to kill my son? It was really just felt like a way to get Allison out the room so that we could figure out a way to blame Rhaenyra for Helena dying, right? So that Allison is justified in her continued hate for Rhaenyra for some reason, right? But then we look at the council again that she has. So Orwell, the maester, who was working for the Greens, who's still kind of buddy chummy with Allison, could still do whatever he wants. Her master of coin is like, you have people blaming me for this shit. The only one she can actually semi trust is Alan because he's like, yeah, I'm here to do a job now.
Hmm.
Um, and I like working. He's like, I like working. Um, she has no women around her. She's the relationship with her stepdaughters is now in the trash. Massaria is gonna be like one turn for another, I guess. Throw her words back at her. Um,
Yeah.
so it's like this is a woman who can't have other women around her. She has to then abuse the other women around her, though the men are abusing her and the men can't be trusted because all the men are playing in her face. But when it gets down to brass tacks, she should have listened to the all the men to begin with.
Hmm.
That's
It's
why
gonna
she's crazy
be.
now.
They gotta come up with every
So
single like reason why. But they already have enough. They already had enough. But this is
truly,
now. Yeah.
without isolating this woman and like I know we're trying to latch onto the I like the concept of paranoia that is part of Rhaenyra's character in the books, but this is now to a point where it's just like no, we truly have to isolate this woman so that she can double down on her
Hmm.
villainy, and how we got here is because she's stupid for not listening to the men around her
Yeah.
and also for being born a woman. So, and then to like, I don't, I know as the 2 years pass, I'm gonna sit with this show, right? I'm gonna sit with it and I'm gonna think about it. It's only one more season, so whether we watch it together, that will come up in 2 years. Uh, I will watch it. It's only 8 episodes. I gotta see how they stick the landing. I know I'm gonna hate it though. It's one of those things where whatever you're setting up, I already don't like because what you set up before, you walked back, and where we're going, it's like, well, all women, truly, it really is women stop being ambitious and seeking power, security, safety. And when someone tells you that, hey, you're going to be CEO and then they just make you employee of the month, you can't be mad about that. Um, to then having to, I mean, I'm not on Twitter as much anymore, but to see the constant uh, hatred and vitriol that gets spewed onto the female character specifically of this show is wild. Um, I will say Rhaenyra, Baela, Rhaena, Massaria get the most hate that I've seen overall. Um, I think the disregard for female characters and the fact that they could be multifaceted is very glaring. Um, like I said, this seems like an extremely X Men 97 season 2 problem that we can have all these women here, but you know, fuck how we write them. I I don't know. I can't even really rate the episodes because I don't think anything is my favorite. I don't when I sit down and I think about what's happened, um, I really am just mad about what's going on with Rhaenyra and Massaria. So everything else for me kind of just fades away. Any build up or construction that's happened story wise, I'm just like, I see where you're going with it, and I just don't like the ending you're trying to force feed us. Um, I think overall this season though, when I think about how it's shot, we got more dragons. That was fun. Um, I think I give the overall season a 6 because certain things I do think were very much better done than season 2. I feel like there was more of a bit more consistent story through lines throughout, even though it felt like a lot of it was just going round and round the same things over and over till we got to this episode. Um, I am ranking it as 6 too because I think every actor fucking killed it. Every ire that I feel for characters I hate, I know is simply just through the craft that of acting work that they're doing. I find everyone's choices intriguing. I do feel though that these are amazing actors all around who can't outact a bad script or a bad story. I think some scripts are, some writing choices were fine. Um yeah, I think for me, the season, I'm not as disappointed in season 2 because season 2 dragged in a lot of places, but I am just disappointed. I don't like where the story is going. I don't like the shakeout and the fallout of things. I don't think that the care for the black and queer actors and queer characters and people of color and characters of color, it's definitely not gotten any better. If anything, to me, it feels like it's gotten worse. Um, we did spend a lot of time with new characters instead of pre-established characters. Um, the cats were fun. Um, I like Sheep Stealer. I think for right now, him and Massaria are like my favorite of the season. I think those two are great. Um, maybe, Massaria goes hangs out with Sheep Stealer for a while. Like, damn, that's crazy what happened to us. And Sheep Stealer's like, you want some sheep? And she's just like, yeah, sure. I'll take care of you for a little while till Raina comes back. Unless he's dead, and that's just really sad. Um, Rhaenyra also has two other sons that the show doesn't talk about. They're out there somewhere. Um, yeah, I don't. I I look at this and I look at like the baseline of each character, and I look at the actors, and I just think I really wish you guys were in a better show. And I can't compare it to the book. Again, we haven't read the book. I see a lot of different variations and feelings of the Fire and Blood narrative and people talking about it. So I don't really know what to take at face value, what to hold as true. It's something I would have to read, but considering the shakeout of what happens to Rhaenyra, I don't want to read about a woman like this has scarred me to the point I don't want to read the book. Even if the book it may be better for Rhaenyra's character, I truly don't want to watch a woman go through femicide and die at the end. And I truly don't. I don't want to read about that. I'm sadly watching it, and um, standout performances for me this season: Emma Darcy. Um, I think Olivia Cook had real funny moments. I think the show had really comedy wise. Yeah, top score for me would be Emma Darcy, especially crying over Jace's body. Um, like broke my heart into a million pieces. Um, this is my last resort. Honestly, suffocation. Yeah. um, Helena jumping out the window. I'm glad she doesn't have to be here for next season, so she doesn't have to keep going through the traumas.
She's gonna be here for next season.
Um,
She got flashbacks.
oh right, everyone's got a flashback. Or haunts the narrative as a ghost in the Red Keep. Allison's got to feel some kind of way about the children she didn't care about to begin with. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I also meant to say Helena jumping. I'm sad for her, but that's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
I like how it ends with Rhaenyra just coldly resigning to the situation. Sure, because that just doubles down on her having to continue to close herself off. And I think that's what metaphorically the shutting of the window to not have to really look at what's befallen everyone. I think that's a good metaphor. Um, but to me, the ending of this season is not as powerful as ending season 1 on Emma Darcy's hurt-stricken, angry cry face. Um, that stamps it as this is the moment, and then the moment never comes. Um, yeah, for a season finale, this is definitely better than season 2. But for what it's set up for season 4, I'm just like, I don't like it. So yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, for me, I have season 1, season 3, season 2. That's my order of seasons.
Mm.
Um, I think I personally like it's salvageable what we are have happening with Rhaenyra's character as a villain, because that's just me. I like villain protagonists. But in order for me to be like, where are you gonna rank on my villain protagonist scales? I got to see how you stick the landing. We only got 8 episodes, so I'm not expecting it to be pretty high. I'm not gonna lie. On top of where villain protagonists scale, like she's gonna end up
Yeah.
at. If you would have gave me this at season 2, and we would have had 2 seasons for you to focus on trying to take down the character that is Rhaenyra Targaryen, then I would have been like, okay, because then you would
Wait, what did she call herself?
the
Rhaenyra
cho
the
the chosen.
Rhaenyra the Chosen?
Yeah. So if you would have
Right.
if this would have been your season 2, if we have four seasons, this would have been your season 2 finale. And we would have built you built this character up brick by brick, and now you have to take this character down brick by brick, but you don't really get that ray of hope that you could take her down until like the end of season 3. And it's now that glimmer of hope that there's a crack in, like, you spend season 1, like if this was much longer episodes too, but you spend season 1 layering the story that is of Rhaenyra Targaryen, right? And you spent that on the rise, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you don't give the full on, like, you still, I think you still have season 1 as it is. um I think
Mm.
season 2 and 3 is where you probably needed to, me personally, I would probably combine it a little bit more. You
Yeah.
know, like, I
Yes.
think there's things that could have been combined from both seasons. That way you could have still had this here as like your epic season 2 finale and whatnot. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has happened. But this could, like, I'm figuring out a way that I felt like this, what we're gonna get needs at least 16 episodes, the full 2 seasons. But what we're gonna get is something that's gonna be speed run, towards
Mm-hmm.
a demise essentially. Because even though the narrative has featured Rhaenyra a lot, I don't think she's going to. I sadly don't. I said where the narrative is going to be at. I think Aegon is going to be all over the place. We're gonna get a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of him, mainly because that's the way it's been written. And these liberties of when they decide that they want to change things from the books and when they decide that they don't want to at the very end has been one of the most puzzling things. And I know that's often a thing that
Mm-hmm.
has been like talked about when it comes to like even Game of Thrones itself. Like the
Mm-hmm.
decisions of when they want to take liberties to change things is so puzzling. And when it backfires community wise, for better or worse, depending on whatever decisions that they try to do, you can see that the faults of the script in the future episodes. When episodes are much
Mm-hmm.
weaker than others, especially when you're trying to like continue the narratives. And I think that was like one of the stronger things about Game of Thrones up until like I think season what 5 or 6, where I think everyone
Mm-hmm.
collectively was like, "All right, you're like that horse meme. You were like great for like 4 or 5
Mm-hmm.
seasons, and then you get the fucking stick figures, and you're just like, what happened?" I think out the gate, I think season one was pretty strong. And I think season two is where a lot of people, and I think, from our conversation too, where season two people really started to question, like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
what's going on here?
Yeah.
And then this season, you know, I really like the episode focused on, Rhaenyra when she's trying to figure out like, the ways to be a queen. That
Okay,
was, yeah,
you're
episode
right.
three.
Episode 3 is my favorite episode. I
Yeah,
think as a depiction of panic, of exhaustion, of of over extending yourself and being
mhm,
overwhelmed. Yes. Okay, you're right.
yeah,
Yes. See, I'm so upset about Massaria. I forgot season 3 happened. Episode 3
yeah.
happened, but yes. Yes, you're
Yeah,
right. Mhm.
like for me, that was like my favorite episode of the season, for what it depicted because I thought this was the perfect type of episode that focused on Rhaenyra and focused on it being you get what you want, but it's overwhelming, and some people,
Mhm.
they say be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. We just watched Obsession. We know what
Mhm.
that whole thing is in real life too. Just because you want to be like the queen doesn't mean you're ready to do the queen things, right? Essentially, that's what you know. You've been
Well,
she's
wait.
been
What? But
conditioning
with
herself to be queen, right? But when you're actually
yes.
there, it's the same thing. Like there's one thing to like win a championship title, it's another thing to keep it, right? Because you have to defend yourself. There's way more issues once you achieve your goal than, as
Right.
they say, more money, more problems. Well, we would like to have those problems, right? Not everybody would like to have the problems that like you once you get the title. Now it's like keeping the title, right? There's so many people
Yeah.
out there that are detractors, right? And that's why when opportunities come, essentially, like when if you think about it in this similar vein as when you get an opportunity, right? And how we could say a lot of people fumble opportunities. Some of the time,
Yeah.
people weren't ready for the opportunity, but they thought they were ready. For Rhaenyra, you could see the people around her were incompetent. So if the people
Right.
around her are incompetent, right? But they weren't. But they were competent to get to this point, or what you thought was like they were competent because they were able to handle something that was way smaller in scale. Now we have enlarged this. Like this is like 10x, right, from what she
Right.
was doing.
Right. Right. Right.
And now the problems are all compounded because you have way more people to care about, way more
Right.
alliances and stuff to form, and that is overwhelming. And they inherited a shit show.
Right.
They didn't know how bad it was, right? Which you try to prepare for everything, but you still don't know what it's like until you're actually there in the seat, right? And we
Right.
saw that's essentially what we've seen here, like how incompetent the people around her were, and legitimately like I guess you say the
So
disintegrating.
is it like
Yeah.
right? Is it like okay? So it's
Mhm.
I don't know if it's necessarily be careful what you wish for
Mhm.
because like she inherited a mess and
Mm-hmm.
it's, compared to Aegon, he didn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not like it's Rhaenyra's fault everything's going to shit. So it's not like
Mm-hmm.
I wish for this and I can't control it. It's I I I'm doing this now. I'm here now.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone else around me is making it a mess so that I can't do my job properly.
So the reason why I was like, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. So she got her wish, right? To be,
Mhm.
well, to be queen, right?
Mhm.
Um, in order to be queen, queen is just one portion of the deal. It's just you yourself,
Right.
but it's also
Right.
going to be the sum of the parts around you, right? Aegon
Right.
was a shit person, right? But everybody around him was so competent. They could mask all of his
Right.
flaws. For
Right.
Rhaenyra, she is so competent, but everybody around her was just not competent, and so she
Right.
can't mask
Okay.
everybody's flaws,
Right.
and
Okay. 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 Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that becomes like the greater issue, where if you have, like, when we say like basketball players, oh, this person carried us to the win, right? So when you have one star player, right, they can carry you to wins. So on the team,
Mhm.
so you have five people, one star player out of those five, and they can win you the game. They can hit the game winner. They can even probably get you to the championship, right? But
Mhm.
can that one player win you the championship? No, you're like, this one player can score 60 points, but you're still gonna
It
need
has to
the
be a team
other.
effort.
It's still gonna be a team effort,
Yeah.
right? Now, the team can have one shitty player, right, who thinks they're
Mhm.
good, but that's one shitty. Well, let's say the star player, it has a really bad game.
Okay, so
You
like
understand?
it's
Yeah,
basically like you can be incompetent in a
yeah.
room full of
Competent
a
people.
competent person in a room of incompetence, right?
Yes.
But it's like it's the ratio of it. You
Mm-hmm.
can't mask so many people's failings because you're one person.
Yeah.
Whereas one person can be incompetent in the role, but they have so many people who are competent in it
Mm-hmm.
that they can mask the one
The
person's
one.
failings. So
Yes.
she cannot cover everyone
Yeah.
fucking up,
Yeah.
but everyone else can cover up Aegon
Her.
fucking up.
Yeah.
Get it? I got you
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it with Rhaenyra. Like,
Hmm.
she can be as talented. If you have a 5-member team, she could be as talented
Hmm.
as 3 members. Hell, even 4.
Hmm.
But you see, you're
Hmm.
still leaking. You're still leaking out
Hmm.
with that one person who is incompetent. But in her case, it's
Hmm.
like, if we attach a number, let's say 7 people, right? In total,
Hmm.
right? You have her. She can probably cover like 2 other people, but
Hmm.
she can't cover the holes of the other 4 people.
Right.
There's too much
Right.
incompetence, right? With Aegon could be the biggest fuck up in the world, but you got 6 competent people, and these people can mask all
Hmm.
of his issues, right? Oh, you got Aegon, you got to take care of your drag. Okay, you got this problem going. All right, you need this. You need some coin. All the other things. You sleeping off
Hmm.
with somebody. Oh, you fucked it up over here. We are moving as an entire unit, and we can he can essentially be a puppet for all people
Hmm.
care, right? But she's more hands on. Rhaenyra is more hands
Hmm.
on, and all these other people they're moving separately. Everyone has their own agendas. There's
Mhm. Mhm.
especially when you get
Mhm.
to this point, and it's like, what happened from point A, where we built up to be competent, to point B, and it's these people just fell apart. Like, literally, they
Mhm.
literally just all began to fall apart. But the only person who was dead on the same and remained consistent was Rhaenyra. Unfortunately, the sum of her
Mhm.
parts equaling her downfall.
Right.
And
Mhm.
this is the inverse of that story. That's why I'm like, all right, I can understand this is a part of the narrative that they're telling, right? They're doing a shit job, in my opinion, of
Mhm.
trying to really get that simple, like, thing across for the most part, because you're
Mhm.
seeing the
Mhm.
deconstruction and everything falling apart. I think everyone can see that, right? It's more so how we got to this point, and if this was the story that we were going to tell, because they obviously, like, at the point we're at right now, she's the villain. And I just didn't like the build up to how we got to this point, because it's like, damn, I didn't really need a lot of season 2 if we're going to be heading in this way in season 3, because season 3 really just made it apparent that a lot of stuff that we happened in season 2 really wasn't focused on anymore, right? like the only thing it did, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's apparent. Like for me, this is why I would rank season 3 above season 2, because now season 2 I feel like gets neglected a lot more, and for me it's like kind of worse off because of the position where season 3 has left it on. I think season 3, for all the faults that it has, like production wise, I think clear above season 2. I think the acting, they had to work with what they got, and a lot of people killed it in their roles. I think on a first watch, I would say for about 3 of the episodes, I think we're like, I'm kind of 50-50. No, I think there was like, I might be like 5-8 in terms of episodes that were like cool to watch on the first time going through, without content creator brain, for the most part. Like,
Okay.
they were just enjoyable to watch, without content creator brain. And then it's like you turn content creator brain on and you're dissecting these things, and it's not as good as the rose colored glasses which through the first watch through. And I don't really need a second watch through to, like change opinions or anything and stuff like that, because you've effectively shown me your cards, and we've already know these cards once they're dealt what's going on. So like I said, even with the only thing, like even with the details we know from Game of Thrones, applying that what's gonna happen here, it's gonna be how the writers stick the landing for season 4. Like I said, I'm gonna go pray for Rhaenyra's case. Like well, do I want her to be a savage? What if, I'm thinking, part of me is like, yeah, because it'll make compelling TV. We don't have many female characters on screen that's been a whole ass savage. However, the talk and chatter around it and what she does is what will decide the fate, if it was the right thing to do or not. It's, if she were to take a lesser route, where she's not inflicting, as much harm or anything like that, then I would be like, what was the point of doing the heel turn if we could have just legitimately kept her? I'm gonna stick to my guns no matter what, and we could have had somebody that could have just rose above all the bullshit, and at the very end see that it was all for naught, but at least I gave it my all. I gave it my best shot, and I think a lot of people could respect the character that tried to fight insanity, right, but kept getting the same result and failed. And they could respect that they went out on their morals and ideas at the end of the day, and they'll forever be remembered as a terrible person, but we the viewers know the real story. The people around her know the real story. And that's the other portion of the coin, that I don't think we're gonna get, given the character metamorphosis that she's currently going through. But that was the other option, if she did not become the villain protagonist. But she's always going to be a villain in other people's eyes, but she didn't need to become a villain protagonist if she continued to stick to her guns. And despite everybody playing in her face, despite all the misogyny and the bullshit that she has to go through, that she went out on her sword and her morals at the end of the day. And even if she failed to truly become the queen that she wanted to be, then it's all right, because at the end of the day, she got to be the queen that like she was trying to be. She at least the queen that she wanted to be. She wasn't the queen that the people wanted, but she was the queen that she wanted. And that is as strong as anything else, because it's at the end of the day, those were her morals. And I think we need more stories like that, where people do, like, even if it's misguided, even if it comes at the fault of others and whatnot, and she'll have to make some tough decisions. Don't be afraid to pull a character that is just I dare say, is it chaotically good? I forgot, whatever, like the neutral badge and all those other terms that people use for like don't be afraid to just pull a character that legitimately is good, but like she's morally gray. She was morally gray. And now that's going to be shifting. So I just want to in the future, I want to see more characters that are literally good to a fault, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sad because you see she could have been, even through all her pain and her trauma.
Hmm.
Um, and now it's just at a point where it's like she's a character who I don't want to say let her trauma win, but it is like everyone pushing her in one direction and she has no choice, right?
Yeah.
So whereas we all want her to, a lot of us can back her and be like, oh, she's not doing enough. It's very sad to watch a woman, again, go through so much struggle to then go through a psychosis and then become a danger to herself and others. Yeah, I agree with you. I think more shows need to focus on people compounding this and going, I don't need to change who I am it was what the world
Hmm.
tries to teach us, right? We can go through so much pain and heartbreak and trauma and abuse. That doesn't mean we need to become our abusers. That doesn't mean we need to become evil. That doesn't we need to get tougher, we need to get stronger. And if we need to play the villain for if people want to deem us the villain, but as long as we don't change who we are at the core of ourselves, we go out on our own terms, we do our best. I mean, it would have been really fascinating to see that, but again, I don't think that the creators want to go into that, because if they did, then they could have worked on her relationship with Masaria more. They could have really shown Bayla being tough and brave and out there doing her thing. They could have showed Reina being a political mover and shaker in the Vale and being taken under tow through Jane, who is another woman who is turning her up at other women, right? They could have doubled down on Allison being ambitious and wanting her lineage to have a seat of power so that she by then also has power, right? The show doesn't truly, the creatives don't want to have female characters be multifaceted. It is very much just like you either don't be ambitious, don't seek power, but if you do, now you got to go crazy evil. Yeah. I don't, guys, I don't know. I'm trying to I think I do this a lot with shows that I get very a bad feeling for. I always figure out, like, we were doing X-Men 97 last week, and I'm trying to give that show the benefit of the
Yeah,
doubt to the
yeah.
point I
Okay,
was
you
talking
gotta.
myself in circles and you had to put your hand on my
Yeah,
shoulder.
yeah.
I feel like that's what I do with this show too, where I'm
Highlight a lot of
trying to
the
play
positives, but I'm gonna have
the
to.
positives and what
Yeah,
can be done and what could be done, and
yeah,
just structurally just having to accept that that's not what the creators of this product want,
yeah,
and to the detriment of me, an audience member, I have to sadly take it on the chin that the show is just crafted to piss me off.
yeah.
Because and I know too. Like, look, and you brought up content creator brain, and I know that
Hmm.
that's part of it. But I have always felt this way in analyzing media. I love television. I love movies. I love music. Before we did K-pop,
Hmm.
I've always I'm always trying to think what's going on here with what I'm watching. Sometimes I can turn my brain off, but most of the time it's like, what are we trying to say in this piece of art? How does this piece of art influence society as a whole in all different ways, either big ways or small ways? What's the impact of it? And so I don't think everything is for the betterment of society. I do think certain things are for to make things worse or stagnant. And it's just this show where I'm just like, I love all the actors and I love the character archetypes, right? I love characters on the baseline. I just think creatively this show is a detriment to writing and crafting stories about female characters and the plight of being a woman in a patriarchal society. And we just want it to be like, well, women are abused by men, so now all these women have to abuse each other. And I don't like that feeling because I feel like that's what a lot of our media is doing now.
Hmm.
It's just a very conservative, harmful mindset. And it's like I can hope for season 4 that some kind of shakeout happens, but I feel like we love Emma Darcy enough. We understand Rhaenyra's plight, so we support it. but everything else around it is just like, why are we as a team making these decisions?
Mhm.
That's all. Um, yeah, I do feel like it is a hand, your hand on my shoulder going, Kayla, it's okay that you don't like it. And I think too, it's okay to critique it, to critique things that you love or invested in, or that you know are interested in. Um, Especially something as big as this. Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire has such societal culture impact, it's insane. But we really need to look at the representation and depictions of these archetypes in media and what that does to people as a whole. Like I said, I've seen a lot of vitriol. Is yeah. Go Team Rhaenyra. But also big ups to Masaria. Whatever, girl, whatever you do, I'm just gonna nod my head and smile. Um, but what do you grade the season as a whole?
Oh yeah, a 7. Yeah, I'm at a 7.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right, so we're about the same. Okay. Do you have a break? Do you have a favorite breakout moment or a character?
No, outside of Roddy, like, yeah, like no, like my man's just no life is like he came onto the scene and it was just like, yo, what's up, folks? I'm here. He really just he came and went, just like the season.
Hmm.
8 weeks, crazy.
Yeah, truly,
Um,
he was here and now he's
yeah,
gone. Um, he died doing what he loved, being homophobic, I guess.
I this man like between that, I'm just I want to see how they do this villain turn. All right, like because we're in the territory playing around with one of my favorite archetypes that I like in writing. Because it's so hard. It's hard. It is hard um, to write villain protagonists. A lot of people underestimate that. And then for the villain protagonist to come in the middle of your series, it's even harder. It's easier to write somebody from the beginning, and you know that, oh wait, this is Dexter, this is Light Yagami, this is another character who's doing terrible things right on the surface, but they have their own sense of justice, right? It's another thing to write a character mid-season that, yeah, there you go, Mystique, that oh
Seeking
man,
Destiny.
like you write this character and
Oh,
they're everything about them is so soft, and then they just, you know what, man, fuck this world, and you're like, oh shit, this is about to be crazy. Like if I'm thinking about like when shows often have somebody who's like a crime like boss, or somebody who's in the life of crime, and you're watching them trying to get away with every single crime, but the cops are supposed to be the ones that's there to stop them and whatnot.
mhm.
And it's like, will they, won't they, cat and mouse, right? Well, they're the villain, right? And I don't want to see the villain get caught, even though you're not supposed to be rooted for. They're doing some terrible shit. Hey man, I'm watching Power and I'm watching these guys who are villains and they killing a whole lot of people. I'm like, yo, they got away, man. I'm happy for them,
Yeah, I
but I'm
think
like, oh shit, but
yeah,
they
I think
just,
a
yeah.
good pop culture example too would be Killing Eve.
There you go.
Jodie
I haven't
Comer's
seen it, but
character.
yeah,
Yeah, the first
yeah,
season truly is just like, yeah, she's doing some horrible shit, but whoa, is she really
yeah,
likable.
yeah. Like, and Raymond Reddington, my man's from the Blacklist.
Yes, yes,
He
yes,
is
yes,
one of the. He's
yes.
done some horrible
Yo,
shit. Yeah.
Rhaenyra's kind of gonna be like the Raymond Reddington. Everyone around her is so
Mhm.
fucking stupid, so she got to
Yeah.
clean up the mess, and you're just
There you
like,
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so like I like those types of characters. They're
Yep.
always fun. And everyone has their own spin on it. So I'm here for the violence. Sometimes I want to watch the world
Mhm.
burn. But there's a specific set of writing that will take that character from being, all right, you're going to be held as being great. And I mean, it's not that they can't do it. They got. I mean,
Mhm.
there's no like. It is very possible that season 4 could be the greatest
Like, who
season.
inches it? Yeah,
Like
just
out of nowhere, we're like, bro, where? And we could be like, where was this writing since like in seasons 1 through 3, right? It is possible, but you know what also is possible? Me hitting the lottery tonight. So I don't know
Right.
if I'm gonna be a near billionaire tonight, and I don't know if season 4 is gonna stick the landing. So those things are both uncertain. But I have faith, so I'm manifesting that. You know, for your sake too.
You sound like, yeah, you're sounding like me at the beginning of this season. I have faith that things are going to
Yeah.
shake out, only for it to be like, I pretty much dislike everything that's been in front of
Like
me.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm not there
man.
yet, but my faith was tested this season. Season 2 was like
Yeah.
I was real like I was man. Season 2 was rough, but
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt our Yap session. As you can see, different clothes, different makeup, new day. Um, that's if you're watching this. If you're listening to this, then we're gonna edit it. You won't even know that it's happening. But yeah, if you're watching this, I just had some afterthoughts about the Messiah Rhaenyra conversation I wanted to share because we're not doing House of Dragon anymore. This is the season finale, and you know, just kind of clarity after the app that happens. Um, when I was talking about Massaria yesterday and the situation of Alinda dismissing her, Rhaenyra dismissing Massaria via Alinda and sending her on her way. Um, in discussing that, I think I internalized a lot more of my affection for Massaria and my own experience of betrayal at too much to kind of look at the picture as a whole in ways that other people were. And even looking on social media and seeing other fans of Rhaenyra Massaria's POV and just digesting it, it did really get me thinking of the way, even though the way Rhaenyra dismissed Rosaria is disrespectful, and to Rosaria as the character in A Life of Betrayal, seeing that as a betrayal herself and internalizing that, if we, I wanted to share Rhaenyra's what is possible, Rhaenyra's point of view and perspective that I saw a lot of people take note of. That at least with sending Massaria away, she's sending her away with maids and enough money and escape plan that she isn't offering to anyone else around her. And that we do have to hold that into account, that that means something for of their relationship. Not only that, to give someone who means something to you gold where you can't even have enough money to feed your town means something, right? Um, it's just a coward's way to do it, right, instead of doing it face to face. I saw a lot of people point out that in conversations and in interviews, Emma Darcy stated, or roundabout stated, that that Rhaenyra views Massaria as a sort of conscious, um and in that it's possible that sending Massaria way is so that she doesn't have to face that conscious, that she's then able to go full villain mode without having to worry about someone that she cares about. Like, Massaria is too soft of a spot for her to really do what she has to do. So you can't be around me because I really got to get my hands dirty now. And I don't want you to see that, or I can't have you see that, right? I think it's twofold. I think that's a possible way to look at the situation. I don't think I'm completely wrong in my perspective on it. Of a it's a betrayal in a way, like you're letting me go without telling me, um, and it without being brave enough to tell me face to face. And yes, the gifts are nice and that's really lovely, but you're making a decision for me and I'm a whole ass adult. And we could have talked about this. Like, you're like most people in Masaria's life, Rhaenyra has now become a person who is making decisions for her, right? The actions are happening to her without her consent. And I think that's important to note too. It's fine to understand Rhaenyra's point of view of, if it is in fact true that I can't have you around because I care about you too much, and as of right now, the things you want, I can't willingly go for, and I don't want you to be marred by that. I don't want you to be scarred by that more than the world has
Mhm.
scarred you. I don't want to be one of those people. But as these situations happen, when you think you're doing the right thing for someone without talking to them, you then it hurt them and then you scar them in different ways. Um, so yeah, just like I think that that's a valid critique on the situation and a valid thought process on it. I still think what my initial statement was is valid as well because, like I said, Masari is my favorite character, so I'm
Hmm.
looking at it from her perspective and a shared perspective I have with her. And as I've learned through things that we do when we do these reviews and yap sessions for shows that we are watching weekly, I do take note of what people are saying, and sometimes I, look at these other perspectives, and it can change my mind about how I initially viewed something. And this is that case. The problem is we're not watching House of Dragon next week. It's not going to be for another 2 years. So I just wanted to add this now because I think it's important to note. Because I don't want people to be like, well, you also have to think about Rhaenyra. You said you like Rhaenyra, and I do. So I thought about it, and this is what I think about it. I also want to note too, like I don't know how this is going to get cut. So if this just gets cut together, I know I get very hard on Alicent and her choices, and comparatively comparing her to Massaria, and stating how much a survivor Massaria is and her journey, and really relating to that. I do also want to state that Allison is a survivor in her own right. The difference is being a survivor through your pain and trauma, and working through that, but in a way that negatively affects everyone else around you. And then, as we discuss all the time, not taking accountability for you surviving, but then you surviving and then being an asshole to everyone. There's a difference, right? There's a difference between you surviving a situation and trying to be better versus you survived a situation and now I'm in my healed era, but who's healing? Who's healed?
Hmm.
I don't think you are. Um, cause like, yeah, I think throughout the whole season, I really tried to state just how much I can see Alicent. But as we discussed with a lot of things that we watch, just because you have pain and hurt and you've suffered doesn't give you the right to treat people the way that you've been treated. And it's not okay for you to get away with it. And that's like, all these women are survivors in on different levels, and they've all gone through the horrors. Um, but what matters is what you do after the horrors have happened.
Hmm.
And that's what we critique, or we analyze, and we dissect and we compare. Same thing, like that's why I wanted to do that, and then discussing Rhaenyra and Mysaria and their relationship. I know that I also, for them, I go on to state, like jokingly, that it's like Rhaenyra, jokingly but seriously, because it is what happened. Mr. Rainier just puts the money on the bedside table and is like, "Well, I got to go home to my husband and my kids now." Um, I don't. It's a joke, but a serious joke. I don't think Rhaenyra is choosing Damon over Massaria, though. I think the show kind of wants us to feel that way. Um, I don't think that's 100% the case, because I think that Damon and Rhaenyra's relationship show wise is quite fractured. But it is easier to work with someone who's already a chaos goblin and a meathead to go, okay, this is the fist I need. This is the fist I need, and I need my heart to go somewhere else and be protected. I'm gonna send her, as people pointed out, to where my other sons are. Wait, I don't talk about my other sons, but I know my other sons are meant to be somewhere else. So I'm gonna send her over there, uh, you know, to where my heart is safest. Um, and I think that there's a lovely perspective on it. Now, how it all shakes out for Rhaenyra and Mysaria in season 4 is left to be seen. Mysaria choosing for a second time to turn back towards Rhaenyra instead of towards a path of freedom, essentially, um, is a choice that she's making, right? But it's like we're gonna see if it's a choice of, well, I'm not gonna let you decide my path for me, and I'm gonna make it your problem, or I'm the only one who really sees you, and I can't see you descend into madness. I had to figure out a way to get back by your side and help protect you. We'll see. I'm also not a toxic Yuri fan that a lot of people are. I think complicated relationships are very important to view and to be represented. Um, but I'm just like, I have seen enough straight relationships and sapphic on in media relationships where someone has to backstab someone else in order to get above, and I'm just like, okay, we've done enough of that. Yeah, I mean, also it's wartime too, so a lot's going on. Rhaenyra's got a lot on her plate, and now Masaria's got even more on her plate. Yeah, I just wanted to add that because I think it's important that if you're gonna sit with a piece of media that you're gonna deconstruct and talk about, to look at other people's perspective on it as well, and to see if there's something within someone else's opinion or thought process that in the moment you aren't thinking of, and maybe when clearer heads prevail, like a lot of time, like we let you guys know, or you guys watch it with us, right? We watch the show and we talk about it right after. There is no break period, so everything that's going on is just really right off the dome. Nothing sits, nothing settles. It's just what we're experiencing in that moment. And then there's a 24-hour wait period where you're allowed to not talk about the show and just think about, okay, maybe I was too emotional in that scene. So, or I was feeling too much emotion about that. And now I'm not as emotional. I took a back seat and I could think about it more clearly. So I just wanted to share that for these two characters that mean so much to me, for this relationship that means so much to me. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think my only thought, like, well, I understand, yeah, I can understand the Masaria and Rhaenyra in the different light. On the Allison point, I think we will see how she develops more so in the last season, because it
Mhm.
seems like the turning point for her character. Not to say that she's gonna have a face turn, but I can see that happening.
I mean, her face has
Yeah.
already turned so many times. I don't like, how many faces is she gonna have? It really is just, my daughter's dead. It's your fault. So now I'm gonna
Hmm.
I'm gonna go back to making it your problem. Like
Yeah.
that's what's happening. That's
She
100.
yeah, like the in the wrestling terms, like, from her to turn face to be a good guy.
Yeah,
Like, people are gonna be really rooting for Team Green. Is that really what's
they
gonna be
already
happening?
are.
And
Yeah, they already
yeah,
are.
I'm seeing
Um,
people rooting for Aegon to be back on top, and I'm just like, damn, bro, where times is this rough?
I mean, even for us, so the season finale aired Sunday night. We watched it Monday the next day, and
Mhm.
this is for however this gets
Yeah.
edited. This is the second discussion on a Tuesday. So more interviews have come out after Sunday night, and the main showrunner, Ryan Condal, roots for Team Green, and his favorite character is Allison. And he said, I saw an interview quickly that he was like, well, if I'm gonna see any, if I could have anyone on the throne, it's Allison, because she's not a dragon rider and she's had the most training in this. And I'm just like, bro, are you even watching your own show? Okay. He's allowed to have his opinion, and everyone's allowed to like whatever
Hmm.
characters they're allowed to like. I think, though, varying degrees of, don't cap so hard for horrible aspects of humanity, but whatever.
Right.
Um, yeah, it is, but you can see that within the text. I'm doing air quotes for those who
Hmm.
are listening. Itself, that he is really trying to skew it so that we have sympathy for these people who did villainous acts, because that's how he sees them. You can do horrible things, but we should all have sympathy and understand you more. And your victims should take a back seat. And once your victims become evil, it's their fault to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Listen, as somebody
there.
who likes to watch the world burn, and I have my favorite villain characters out there, um, you will
Yeah.
not see me rooting for Aegon. So I
I
don't
don't
care. I
know.
don't care
Yeah.
how good the actor is. You will not see me rooting for Alicent.
Yeah.
You'll see me rooting for Rhaenyra. In her becoming a villain, because I'm like, it's about damn time. I was like
Hmm.
looking at my imaginary watch on my wrist, and it's go time, villain time. But yeah, I'm trying to think in the cortex of my mind, is there any villain who has done something so egregious that I'm just like, yeah, it's okay that they did that and defend them. I don't think there is. But
Yeah, I
yeah.
yeah, the closest for me is Mystique, where she, shapeshifts into a young student and goes to school and tries to seduce Gambit because she hates Gambit, doesn't want Gambit with Rogue. Like, I'm just like, that's crazy work.
Yeah.
And then also taking Baby Hope and then touching Baby Hope to an unconscious Rogue, like pretty much fuck that baby. My daughter gotta live. Like, it's just, varying degrees of things happening for that character that I will lay my life down for. So like I get it. Guys,
Yeah.
I get it. That's why I'm like who you like, but yeah, like I said, we are also allowed to side eye you if you're capping for the most horrible aspects of human nature. And then you want to see those things succeed, whereas someone who is a victim of those things, like they deserve what they get in the end. Like, okay,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay,
That
okay, chat.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I just think like, there is a clarity that comes with walking away after a conversation about the shows and the medium we consume, where we can see things from a different, more calmer perspective. And whereas I really did state that I still feel that this is constructed as a show specifically to piss me off. um I think, I still think that this show does not handle the writing of the women well. It does not handle the relationships of women well. um the whole, like, yeah, I'm still very much stuck on the Massaria thing, and though it's a lovely thought to be like she's sending her away because she cares about
Mhm.
her so much, I truly would have loved that conversation to happen between the two of them. And it's like, well, she can't, because if she looks at her, she's gonna fold. And it's just like, well, okay. And then Massaria is allowed to feel how she feels. But I also truly would have liked to see them work together, and Massaria to be there next to her to see her spiral and just be affected by it. Like, that would have been such an intriguing take, instead of her either trying to get her move her way back in or playing a part in her downfall. Which, if that happens, I'm literally throwing bows. But yeah, that's left to be seen. I mean, feelings and thoughts will change as the 2 years go on, and I don't think but I don't think too much of my initial feelings upon first watch of the entire season and then the finale are going to differ in 2 years. At season two, a lot of my thoughts haven't changed 2 years later. But as you like to say, it's really how you stick the landing. Um, and I think also the conversation around people going, well, if you don't like the show, then don't watch it. I agree. You don't have to watch something and put yourself through something unenjoyable. But for me personally, though, I do find this show quite unenjoyable. Like, it's a pain in my ass. I like these actors a lot. And of course, I support them in all their other roles and things that they do, and I watch those things. But it's, when will be the next time I get to see them all together and get to see them all work off of each other? And as I stated before, it is only one more season. It's 8 episodes. For me, I'm in my Attack on Titan situation where I'll just finish. I'm here. I'll just finish it. If I really hated it, I would have not jumped in on season three. So, yeah. I mean, but who knows? Maybe that'll change in 2 years. Who knows if we'll be talking about it in 2 years? I hope so. If you guys want to hear us talk about it in 2 years, feel free to, you know, message me. Be like, well, Kayla, now that it's 72 hours later, what do you have your thoughts changed about Eamon? Have your thoughts changed about Helena? As of right now, no. But who knows how I'm gonna feel tomorrow, right? Who knows how I'm gonna feel a month from now? And I think, a lot of people really should onboard that you're allowed your initial feelings, but try to see it from other perspectives as well. We all watch things differently, and it's okay to change your mind, and to really sit with that. I think it's also absolutely okay to critique the things that you like and the things that you're consuming, and also to note when adaptations are truly just like, well, you didn't need to adapt this, you could just write your own story. And I know that that's a situation that a lot of the book fans are going through, especially after all these interviews that are coming out right now. And especially with Emma Darcy saying that Rhaenyra is a fascist. And it's just like, I think everyone's just gone a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Um, Truly wild stuff. Yeah, just I thought it was important. It's gonna be 2 years. Just wanted to say that. I don't know the next time we are gonna talk about House of Dragon. I'm happy to talk about it online with you guys in the comment section down below. But yeah, just there's that.
Oh man. All right, folks. Well, with that said, we'll be catch you guys next time. So let us know in the comment section down below and catch us on all of our platforms in the description where you guys can find us. So until next time, folks, you already know. Helps us.
Team Black, Team Rhaenyra.
Hey man, Team Green gotta burn, bro.
Set them all on fire. Set them all on
Yes.
fire. Let them all jump out a window.